And permanently discredited and abandoned. Everywhere is war. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? We don't need. What don't we need? No more trouble. Bob Marley. We don't need. We need courage. No more trouble. The courage to look. People need the courage to actually look at what actually is going on. Stop looking at what's the fake going on and look at what's the real going on. It'll scare you, but don't worry about it. You're going to be scared later if you don't. Good morning, everybody. You're going to be scared later. Hang on, let me bring in, they've got YouTube going first. Now let me get Facebook going. Oh, don't be scared. No, don't be scared. Don't be scared. If you're going to be scared, you better make sure you start planting your oregano, get your herbs in the ground, get your, what else we need? We need some Cajun seasoning. We're going to need, because, you know, y'all remember how people used to laugh at the people in China eating their pets? Did y'all see the Federal Reserve projections? If you know what's going on, you know it ain't on the television. See the Federal Reserve projections? 47 million people to be unemployed with the when this Great Depression, this greatest depression is full blown. Right now it's not full blown. You got people cheering for normal over here and the people over there cheering that Donald Trump is gonna save us from the pedophiles and all his friends. And I was just like, oh no, baby, you need the courage. You need the courage. You're gonna need the courage, or you're gonna need a tight stomach. A stomach that can tolerate eating some pets with some oregano and some basil and some parsley, because if you ask anybody about the Great Depression, you're not gonna like it. That times two is gonna be quite ugly. But it's a beautiful time we live in, because we can avoid it. It's still avoidable. We're not there yet. We can pull Iceland. Oh yes, baby. Who reminded me of Iceland? Somebody reminded me of Iceland. We can pull Iceland last minute. We can let them fail and back the hell out of our country. People are like, what's this got to do with the virus? Please have the courage to look and see what's going on in your world. There is no virus. Did y'all see the last study confirming the California study? Ain't nobody, like, literally they faked and lied about all the statistics, and we thought it was a mild flu season. It's not even a mild flu season. It's like flu season didn't even happen, and that's the scary part to me. We didn't get our cuckoo flu. It came through for flu season. Everybody else got it but us. Good morning, everybody. Oh, my message for today is just courage. Have the courage to look and see what actually is going on. Have the courage to step outside of your identity and actually focus on the only real leverage we have. The only real leverage we have. Y'all see look at the alligator behind me. You know, it's funny how I just start this stuff and I start putting things together and I see white ducks and black ducks. Anybody see the white ducks and the black ducks? Look at them. What they doing? Ooh, let me tell you about the story about the park. First, I gotta tell you the story about the park. I'm gonna read as many comments as I can today. I'm gonna try to keep my rant down to 5 minutes and less, 4. And then we're gonna move on. I'm gonna try to read as many comments as I can today because I get tired of repeating myself, and I feel like I am. But I need the courage too. I need the courage to keep going on, to get on. But sometimes you get tired, you keep saying the same damn thing. Y'all, it's the banks, it's the banks, it's the banks, it's the banks, central banking, it's the banks, it's the banks, central banking. Same thing we did to the USSR, Sanchez, it's the banks, it's the banks, it's the banks. The USSR needed a Rothschild bank, so we collapsed them. It's the banks, it's the banks, it's the banks. We staged a lot of NASA videos. Yeah, we probably went to the moon, but a whole lot of it was fake, and the flat earthers were right about that, but you know. The whole world's a stage. We collapsed the USSR, made Russia, and now they got their Rothschild bank, and they're doing the same thing here. Here they already had the Rothschild bank, but they need to reset it. The big global bankers are going to go do something else, and they're going to pick a different police state to run the world. And America's going to be dropped into abject poverty as the dollar is destroyed, and they give you the digital dollar, your new currency, so you can be a total slave. Total slave. You think you ain't got no freedoms now. You just wait, baby. Just hang on. You're gonna be eating goldfish later. What do goldfish taste like? Anybody eat a goldfish? We're gonna be eating our pets later. We're talking about China. You're gonna be eating our goldfish. Just put a little basil on them, you gotta get the kids, you gotta convince the kids to go along with it. That's the problem. That's the problem, is getting the kids to go along with it. You gotta say, well, listen, we're gonna take Blinky, and Blinky went to heaven. You gotta figure out how to get Blinky in the soup and season it. Make sure it's not gold. It ain't nothing in, because you're gonna have to get the scales off. Because if they see the glitter scales, it look Blinky colors, like, that's Blinky, hey, Blinky. It's like, hey, listen, it was Great Depression, son. It was coming. I didn't do anything about it. I was scared. I didn't want to look. I was watching the news and I thought it was a virus. I was confused. Y'all was laughing at China eating them pets. See, Karma is a mother. I love Karma. Karma is a mother, and I don't like Karma at all. But Karma's just. Laughing at China putting dogs and cats in cellophane and eating them. That was funny then. It's not gonna be funny in a minute. And plus, what is that called? A hijab. Where the hijab people at? I gotta give a shout out yesterday to my hijab sisters. I gotta give a shout out. You call them barkers too. I gotta give a shout out to them. How have they remained so quiet this long? How have they sat on their hands and bit their lips as the whole world that talk junk about them wearing barkers and hijabs in public? Oh, they look like ninjas. They're about to attack us. Something's happening to hide their identity. Why would you cover your face in public? It makes it. Karma is just, baby. It always comes back around. I have no idea how they have been so patient to not troll the hell out of the whole nation and world that's shut down and forced to wear masks to come out and play, to cover your face. And that's circumstantial, isn't it? Isn't it funny how that works out? You joking and laughing about somebody else's circumstances, they scare you, and now you in some circumstances that got you wearing masks too? Yeah, that's how karma works. But all we need is courage. All you need is the courage to look, to have the courage to look and figure out what's really happening in the world. And I think if you look, you'd find out what Iceland found out. If you're not scared, you just let the bank collapse. You just go and let it collapse. That's all. Now, we got the digital currency coming for you. No, you don't. I ain't got that for me. No. I'm going to do exactly what Iceland did. I'm going to go, you know what? Hang on, turn this music off. We'll start a conversation. I'm going to do exactly what Iceland did. We're going to let the dollar fail, because the dollar was never our dollar and U.S. corporation was never our government. We're just going to let that mess fail. We're going to go do something sustainable. See, Iceland at the time, as I changed the music, they had the ability to go sustainable, right? They had the ability to go back to fishing. They were one of the Nordic, speaking of Nordic, hang on, one of the Nordic people. They just flipped back to sustainability. They said, we don't want to do fake stability. We want to do sustainability. And they went back to their core means of providing for themselves instead of the fake means that came through their Wall Streets and the banks. And they became sustainable. America can do it. Britain can do it. Africa, everybody can do it. You just have to go do sustainable stuff. You got to plant them seeds, get them perennials in the ground, learn how to fish, hunt, cook goldfish, learn how to make guppy soup, and all right, I'm gonna stop with that. That'll get people upset. People love their pets. You love your pets, I know. But the problem is, I listen to old folk. And when old folk talk about the Great Depression, there's a whole lot of stories you don't want to hear. Hovering around the fire, trying to stay warm with the kids, rationing your food with the dogs and the cats, trying to figure out how you're going to explain to your son or daughter how we going to get the cat or dog in the porridge for tomorrow. It's avoidable. You love your pets? Then we should be avoiding the greatest Great Depression that's ever graded the greatness, great that's coming. Still avoidable. We can walk away. The first thing you got to do is cut off that damn television. You got to cut it off. That's number one. Got to get the courage to turn it off. You got to get the courage to accept the things that you can't see, that you never saw, because you didn't pay attention to what was coming. You believed in the politics, you believed in the race, the religions, the nations, all the nonsense these billionaires gave you, because they wanted you to bring identity to a gunfight. How you say that? You got tricked into bringing a knife to a gunfight. It's a little worse than that, because they did that probably about 1,000 years ago. We're tricked into bringing a broken knife, a half-tang knife. You know what a half-tang knife is? You know, a full-tang knife? That's the knife where it goes through the handle. It's the steel goes all the way through. So when you get mashed in his gut, it'll just go in his gut. And we got Master's knife. Master gave us a knife, and it's called voting and politics. I'm not talking violence. It's half tang, because they know as soon as you stab half tang and the steel don't go through the handle, it's gonna break. It's gonna like that. Ragnar Lothbrok used full tang weapons. Got to be full tang. Don't be the tang that the plantation gave you. You ain't gonna be, ain't no Wu-tanging in the tang that they gave you. You's gonna die. Don't use the weapons your masters give you to fight master. That is not gonna end good for you. They got all kind of scams, and we still got people talking about politics. Speaking of full tang, let me get Ragnar. Yeah, I want to get Ragnar in the picture. Ragnar was another one. Sometimes you don't choose to fight people. Sometimes the fight chooses you. Sometimes you just woke up and realized, damn it, I'm in a fight. Ragnar never wanted the power chose him. If you've ever watched Vikings, you know how that worked out. Sometimes you just got to step up. You know, we are at war. We've always been at war. The only difference is some of us recognize we've been at war and some of us don't. We've always been at war. We didn't choose this war. This war chose us. We were just born here and given death. You know what I mean? We were just given the death. We don't have to continue with this world. We can do what Iceland did. We can walk away. We can be sustainable. But we got to have the courage to do that. We got to have the courage to get dirty nails and get out there and do some gardening. You got to have the courage to get out there during flu season. Now that you know that it's not even a mild flu season. Flu season didn't even hit the United States. Pretty much nobody died of this thing. 0.01, 0.03, what is that? Come on now. And then so they got the stage. Oh, we got a stage. And what is that? That's just the final looting of your country. That's all that's the final looting of your country. Like, you know, so I was talking to the sister this morning. Good sister, you know, she's still kind of in the racial fight, you know, fight on the racial perspective. I'm a little concerned with people who still see the identity, because I'm a little worried that it's fear is what's happening. People are scared to get outside of their comfort zone. Those identities are very comfortable. But I need to let you know something. So the Great Depression was what, 25% unemployment? So the Federal Reserve said we're going to be at close to 1/3, 33%, 40%. And I think they understated, because I don't think they want to scare people. And back then people made it. They made it. They pulled together, but they could. They had the land. Most people don't have the land. If you are in a community, whether it's minority, white folk, Christian folk, people in the hoods and the barrios, understand that these people don't have land. All right, there is no in the Great Depression, Great Depression, they're gonna go grow some food. They don't have land. They got bellies and they don't have any land. So one of two things are gonna happen. Those people are gonna go extinct. This is an extinction level event, or they're gonna get hired by the state. And they get hired by the state that works for the banks, and they put a gun in their hand. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to eat, and they're going to do precisely what they're told to do. They will be Nazi soldiers, police state, homeland. We got a way to go. We can get out of this, but we have to have the courage to accept that history repeats itself. And if we're stupid enough, it's going to repeat. It's going to hurt even worse. All right? That's all I got. I'm going to read there was something real positive. The park. Right. I'm going to tell you about the park. Y'all remember I told y'all the story about the park? I went to the park. And I go to the privileged parks, by the way, people. Because I understand that the privileged parks stay open a little longer than the Pope Park, so I go to the privileged park. And plus the air, I like the air a little better. The water's a little cleaner. You know, that's just kind of how that goes. And so they stayed open late, but they finally shut it down about a month ago. I went over there. When did I tell y'all the park story? Was it last week, 2 weeks ago, when they finally shut down even the privileged parks? You couldn't go there, breathe the air, walk along the river, anything. And then last weekend, 5 days ago, people had enough. It was right after the protest started up. People had enough. And so I drove past the park. And usually they had signs all along, wouldn't let you in. They had the K-rails to stop you from going in the park. They closed the gates and did everything, put signs up, your car will be towed, blah, 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 all that stuff. Right after the protest, people came out. They said, oh no, we don't care nothing about you closing the park. It don't belong to you. The land belongs to us. I'm not sure they were that smart, but they didn't care. When the people got together, black, white, yellow, green, blue, purple, Christian, Muslim. They all said, no, you ain't gonna stop us. We going to the park. And they started lining up in the no parking spots. There were only about 8 no parking spots, and they weren't really parking. It's just a park entrance where they put the gate and the K-rail so you couldn't get in. And people were lining up to get tickets to get in the park. Lining up. I'm just giving you the rest of the story. They were lining up. You had 2 cops down the street, couldn't do nothing. They were just sitting down the street, just sitting there watching people lining up to pull up, and they go put the sticker on the window, and they go have fun at the park, come back in, get in their car, leave. The next person pull right back in. The cop get out, put a sticker on the window, and guess what happened? Within 2 days, park is open. Park is open. Why is the park open? Because it demonstrated one thing. We actually still got power. We still have leverage. We need to know what that leverage is, but we do still have power. It's not in voting. It's not in politics. It's not in political. It's not in the states. States do still have governments, which is a good thing. However, those governments are broken. They can't do anything for you. They are beholden to the United States and corporation, the corporation that works with the Federal Reserve, which are all privately owned. They can't help you. We can force them to do what's right, but they can't help you. And when we all get together, they will always capitulate. Why? Because they are us. They are us. We are actually their power. They draw their strength from us. If we are divided, then their power comes from high on down. But when we're united, they're going to do exactly what we tell them to do. So we still got power. We can still end this thing. We can still pull an Iceland. We can still pull and let them fail. We can still pull a Pennsylvania parking. Get together and do what's right and not comply with exactly what Rebecca just said. If you don't comply, they will capitulate. But you got to drop your narrative. You got to drop your identity. You got to drop your religion. You got to drop your disgust for people in parkers. Put on your mask. Don't put on your mask. You know, but we can fix this world. We can build a beautiful world. We just gotta, we have to want to. But we gotta have the courage. Once you get on top of the banks, like that alligator, you see the alligator, look at that alligator real close. Look real scary from a distance. When you get up, when you actually have the courage to do research, you will realize that alligator really ain't got no teeth, because that alligator ain't an alligator. Y'all look close. When you get close, look at his eyes. That's not an alligator. It's fake. It's an alligator. And alligators don't bite. They don't bite. They don't have, once you start lining up on their back, they're going to bend over and roll over like a dog that you might have to eat with some basil and parsley and oregano if we don't get out of this and avert this greatest depression that's coming. We still got the resources. We still got the power. I got the power. You still got the ability to feed everybody, build houses. We can't do the automated houses. We got 12 companies that are doing that, and they're not ready to scale up. But we can say no. We can say hell no. But we got to shift these protests. These protests cannot about restart slavery and keep everybody enslaved to debt and banking. It has to be about free the people. We're done. We're done with banks. We finally understand what money is, and we ain't doing this no more. We're going to pull a Iceland. What did Iceland do? Iceland let the banks fail, but they took care of their people. And the only way you can take care of your people is you got to be sustainable. How did they do that? They rebooted back to their sustainable industries where they weren't international. They were fishing and oil and all the things they did there. Then they took care of each other. Farming, we can do the same thing, but you got to let go of the nipple. You got to get that, got to stick it out, push it out your mouth. That debt money nipple. You know, you got money in the bank. I told you, you should not have dollars at this point in time. At this point in time, you should own seeds and garden tools and solar panels and wind generators and things that your neighbors need, wheelchairs, anything. Anything that actually helps people, you know, something as a tangible value, but the dollar is done. Trust me, we've seen this. I go along with it. And I listen to smart people. They saw this coming a long time ago. And you go ahead and keep your money in that stock market and don't help it fall. They're making it fall. And you keep your money in the bank, they're going to have their bank holiday. They're going to take 60, 80, whatever percentage if they need to, once they evaluate the next digital dollar currency on the open market, and you will be broke anyway, with no wheelchairs, no crutches, no solar panels, no oregano, no goldfish to eat later. It's just, this is what happened before. Happened at the Great Depression. It was just a looting activity. That's all it was. They looted the country. It was a land grab. They bought corporations for pennies on the dollar. History always repeats itself because you're hiding inside like there's a virus. You need to have the courage to line up with other people, with your neighbors, like somebody just posted. Crawl on the back of that alligator and say, you ain't an alligator. You don't have no teeth. You're a falligator. Your only teeth is division. Your only teeth is when I line up against my neighbors, and I'm not going to do that no more. Yeah, I don't like them. You know, they got that compost pile, they got poo piled up or something. They don't cut the grass. They like bees or something. They like to help the pollinators. I don't like them. They're lowering my house value. Don't worry about it because you ain't going to keep that house. 47 million unemployed. You going to think you're going to keep your house? You think you're going to keep that McMansion? You think you can afford the heat for it? Oh, no. It's like, oh, but we're just going to restart the economy. That is not how economies work. This is a freight train. When you have a capital-based, growth-based consumerism economy and you stop it for 2 months, it doesn't restart. Oh, you can turn it back on. Yeah, you can give people stipends and tax credits, stuff like that, and the businesses will try to make it. And guess what? Most will fail after you turn it back on. And that's why I'm saying there's the depression that we're already in. And then there's that scaled up depression that happens afterwards, after we're struggling. And once we realize it, you can't stop a nation that's consumer based. It's a freight train. You can't just stop a freight train because all the cars behind it will pile up and fall off the rail. And then your supply chain is gone. Once your supply chain is gone, you're not just restarting business. Things aren't coming in the country. Nobody's importing anything. Why? Because partly we can't afford it no more. The value of the dollar is gone. It's dead. Nobody wants it anymore. So how you going to buy stuff from China? How you going to do that? How you going to buy anything from China and they don't want your dollars no more because your dollars have no value? Right? Price of food goes up. That's what I'm saying. All we got is each other, people. We survive by each other. That's all we got. This, like Ragnar, this fight was always there for us. We didn't choose it. It chose us. And now it chose us. What are we going to do? Yes, Trish, it's a alligator. It's all a alligator. It's got fake teeth, fake eyes. The central banks will capitulate if we unite just like Iceland did. Focus on what truly matters, Jennifer, and all that matters to each other is us. That's all we got. We don't have nothing else. We don't own the cars. We don't own the houses. We don't own the garden tools. We don't own the land. We don't own any of it. We are on it and we got it, but they own it. And they can take it anytime they want to because they got poor people in the ghetto and the barrio and the trailer parks who will take a job, put on a badge, and bring that drone out there and take it from us the minute we want, the minute they want. So no, you don't get to keep the McMansion. You can have a tent. That's what you can invest in. Going down to Walmart, if they still open, get yourself some tents. You're not gonna live. You can have wings in there. You got wings in the McMansion. You're not gonna have it in the tent. And it's not meant to scare you. It's meant to say, you know what? You need to have the courage to look at what's going on. You need to have the courage to actually look what's happening behind the scenes. Exactly. Kristen saying it comes from China. Kristen, everything comes from China. Everything made in China. I'm not just talking about the virus. The virus is, well, originally it came from America, but that's a whole nother discussion. We're not going to get into that because what had happened doesn't really matter as what's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? What's about to happen is the greatest Great Depression, the greatness, great that your great-great-grandparents could never even fathom because they thought you listened to the stories and you would avoid doing this. Truth Stream is great. I will check out their channel. Yes, Truth. Oh, Lori, please do. Thank you for blasting them. Truth Stream Media, if you have not followed them, they'll get you up to speed pretty quick. They've been blocked and banned and thrown off of social media because they were actually telling the truthful things that was happening in your world that scares the hell out of everybody. Truth Stream Media, they've been saying it for years. All right, shut up already today. Should have stocked up on prayer. Amen. Hang on, wait a minute. Shut up already today. Should have stocked up on prayer. Amen. Belinda, you want me to shut up? You told me to shut up to somebody else. I don't even know what you... All I'm going to say on the stocked up part is no, nobody should have stocked up. I am somewhat of a prepper. I always knew bad time was coming because I trust my grandparents. But I didn't have to stock up. I always remain stocked. I'm always ready to go. And as far as the prayer, I pray without ceasing. I don't have to start praying. I've never stopped praying. I'm all the time. So I'm always stocked up, ready to go. It's my health. I'm always getting dirty. I'm always in the dirt. I'm always healthy. I'm ready to run, ready to fight. Whatever it comes, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to grow some food. I'd rather grow food for my neighbors than fight off people who are sent here from China, Russia, ghetto, wherever they come from to take the things that I have. I'm ready to go. I've always been ready to go. I trusted my grandparents. I thought they had more interest. And I'm not talking to Belinda. I'm not even sure if Belinda even talking to me. I'm just ranting for a minute, sis. I know I said it'd be 5 minutes. It's 15 already. Yeah, I was always ready to go. I trusted my grandparents. They loved me. They told me what I needed to do. My grandfather told me that my mother lost her damn mind, married a man from Maryland, moved like the Jeffersons to the suburban area. Grandpa wanted me on the farm. Explained to me, now you need to grow food. Great Depression was a bad time. People were cooking with Vaseline. You need to be on watch. They're not. And I've been on watch ever since. My brother, they wasn't watching nothing. My brother's watching TV. They're watching the news. They joined a political party. They still believe in politics. I was always ready to go. I'm ready to go now. I thrive in a time like this because I was prepared. I listened to them. I thought they had more vested interest in my future and the future of my children than big banks, corporations, political parties, and charlatans at the top of all of the movements, all of the identity movements, charlatans, all of them. So yeah, prayer is talking. It is, Lori. Prayer is talking. Manifestation is just what we are and what we do. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Now I'm just going to read comments. I've been running my mouth for the past couple weeks. I'm just going to do comments and we'll see where that goes. Let me see. Good morning, Susie. Good morning. That's right. Coming like a freight train. Yeah, Justin, it's coming like a freight train. We didn't ask for it. We didn't ask for it, but we can get ready for it. It's up to us. We didn't ask for it, but it's coming. We always been poor. What a depression. What's a depression? But this is true, Trudell. And this is where poor folk can help out the people who was in the middle class, a little disassociated from rough times. There's some people that came from rough times and they can take care of themselves. Trudell, I tell you what, I had some privileged parents, but I was not privileged. Once I walked away, I said, nah, I can do this on my own. I'm an obstinate type of person, Trudell. I didn't believe in my parents telling me what to do. It's not government. People say, you're always so anti-government. No, I'm not. I'm anti-authority. Don't tell me what to do. You tell me what to do, go left, I'm going to go right. You tell me go up, I'm going to go down. I told my parents, Trudell, I said, nah, I'm going to pay for this college myself. I ain't got no time for y'all. Y'all telling me where I can party, what I can do, when I got to come in. No, I got me a job in college where I went out and discovered that white folks was racist too. They just like the black folk. And I got out there working in that little southern city of a town I went to college in. And I paid for my education. Oh no, I ran up some debt. No. And then I hit that poverty thing, Trudell. Oh no. Boy, I tell people I live privileged, but I live low and raggedy too. I know what it's like to go to the grocery store and buy bread while you're in college and you got a young child. Yes, I'm one of them. I'm a statistic. Damn it, I'm proud of it. It made me strong. I know how to get bread and fill up your belly and fill up your wife's belly and your kid's belly, so you're not hungry the next day, so you can get up and go work at 3 jobs. I done did all of that, right? I know how to make ramen noodles go long, mixing in vegetables, stuff like that. So what Trudell is saying is true. Poor people know how to make it go. You go find yourself somebody in a trailer park, a ghetto, a burial, they will explain to you how to make things go because they've lived through Great Depressions. They lived in a depression while we lived high on the hog. They've been there. And so the thing is, we can all work together, put the pieces. The only problem is those folks ain't got no land. And this is my point with the sister was that, we got to drop this identity struggle stuff because this is an extinction. This is a depopulation. This is the banks looting this country, and the people that you're trying to defend will go extinct. If we don't stop fighting amongst ourselves, we got a greater foe and it's time to grow up. We all need to be speaking up and standing up. Yes, Lori, now it's not a time for fear. It's time for people to step up. No matter where you are, you need to go do your research, educate yourself, find out what actually is happening realize that the virus was a pandemic. It was a scam to scare you into the house like a child and start speaking up. This is what we need. This is a time where we need strong people. We don't need the little weak people we've been. We need strong, independent people or our children are paid a maximum price. All right. Good morning, Hillary. How you doing this morning? Everywhere war. We say, yeah, I was singing Bob this morning. Wars everywhere. Rumors of wars. And isn't that what's happening right now? It's a rumor of war. This is biblical. This was in Revelations. And it's not the Revelations, not the Republican Revelations where Trump is coming to save us from pedophiles. I don't agree with that. No, that don't make no sense to me. It's never happened in history. But it's definitely rumors of wars because some of us see it and others don't. Rumors of wars behind the curtains of a pandemic. As your government gives you 3 phases to roll out, every single day. what is it, every week the Federal Reserve is printing another or shifting the money on the balances. I've been watching Best Evidence channel on YouTube. I told y'all to watch. Within the last week, they shifted over like another 10 billion or something like that in the balances. The longer it takes, the longer you're shut down, the more they're looting. The longer you're shut down, the more they're pulling out the middle class, the more poor people they're going to push into extinction. And they're just moving the numbers over on the balance, and they're trying to see how long it's going to take. This is why I said the other day, if Donald Trump had your back, he would have immediately ended the shutdown. He does not have your back. His job won't let him get your back. His job is to do what Obama did. His job to do what Pelosi's doing. That is to play out this entertainment system, which is what the political system is. It's to keep you entertained while they loot your nation, steal your land, take that McMansion, take that Benz, the Beamer, loot your bank accounts, and push you back into the 1920s. So you can figure out what koi tastes like in soup. So you can put that, so karma can show you why you shouldn't have laughed at poor people in poor countries eating dogs and cats, as you're looking at your dog and your cat got that look in your eye like the cartoons back in the 80s. Goodbye Deadstream Media. Good riddance. Jennifer, I would hope that would happen. People have to stop watching it. The statistics on those who's watching that fake lion media show, it needs to go down. It needs to go away. More like we have careened off the road and blew through the guardrail and 10 feet to the bottom. Hitting the brakes won't help. Yes, yeah, you know what? And that, yeah, so in terms of a pileup, Justin, that's a good example. We're going to crash. We're going to crash. The dollar's going to crash. You're not going to save it. They'll give you a digital dollar, but you're not going to stop the currency collapse. Either we're going to take on the next scam that's going to enslave everybody, or we should say we're done with the whole banking system. But you cannot walk away from banks if you need money. You can't walk away from banks if you got hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank and retirement 401k and stuff that you know you can take out. You know, they're going to take theirs out. You know, so don't you say, oh, you said take mine out. I've been saving for years and I'm scared to do it. Okay. All right. You need to go look at what a bank holiday is and currency devaluation and how that's going to fit in with the global currencies. Right now, America is being pushed back into being equal with everybody else. We were the Rothschild spear. This is why we're behind all the wars. Now they're pushing us down and we're going to be a lesser nation. Same thing that happened to the USSR, which is why they're Russian now. Same thing that happened to Iceland, but they had a different solution to become sustainable again. Today, honor Mother Earth. And every day, yeah, we have to honor Mother Earth, Christine, and the same people that they're cheering to reboot normal, the same people that's burning it up, that's destroying Eden, poisoning her and everybody on it. But everybody has to step up at this point in time. That's just where we are. The funny thing is social distancing is actually not healthy for us. We need to interact with people on a real basis. It strengthens her immune system or your immune system. We disposed all these viruses, which is good. We need devices in our system that makes us stronger. And this is all true, Daniel. It's all true. People need to have the courage to go look at that. They need to have the courage to understand what's going in their nose every time they flush that toilet. They need to have the courage to understand what's going in their mouth every time they give a peck on the cheek. Daniel, somebody needs to do some statistics for how many viruses you get for pecking somebody on the cheek. If you know the billions of viruses in one scoop of water that comes out of a lake or an ocean, you ever been swimming in the ocean, how much more water you done gurgle, taking in hundreds of billions of viruses every 10 minutes you're in the water. Every time you kiss somebody or French kiss somebody, you taking in hundreds of billions of viruses. We absolutely need to not be social distancing, and we know that. Most people know that by now. Now they just need to go out and do it. All right, good morning. Good morning, Jill. Good morning, Jack. Let me see, I grew up Orthodox, Catholic, alcoholics, but next door was Grandpa's farm. Oh, okay, Justin, and that's a good thing. Sounds like you spent time on the farm, so you know how to grow some greens. You know how to grow some potatoes. You know how to grow some tomatoes. You know how to take care of the farm. We need farmers looking out for people in the inner cities, and we need inner city folks teaching other folks how to survive. You know, we can build our own food systems. We just need to be able to get them into the cities to take care of those people. Otherwise, those people are going to do exactly what the state tells them to do. During the Great Depression, what was it, 80% of us own land and we're farmers. Now less than 3% of people grow anything. and nobody owns any land. Not in these big mega cities, which is why they wanted everybody in the mega cities. They know how to break you down as a slave. You can't take care of yourself. You're a child. You're dependent. Now's the time to work together, or the banks will get everything they want. Politicians are puppets on the stage. That's all they are, Rebecca. That's all they are. Anybody still posting on politics, I have no idea what's going on in your head. I have no idea. You are a slave. We are all slaves. Well, let's say it the right way. I'm a captive, not a slave. I don't have a slave mind. I am a very obstinate bastard. I don't give two damns what you say, your politician says, or your government says. I know it's not a government. I know it's a corporation, and I'm not honoring the corporation no more because it only thinks I'm a commodity. We are all owned. In 1871, we all became commodities, which are worse than slaves. See, the beautiful thing about a slave, and I was talking to the sister on the thread about it this morning. She said, well, black people, they own us. No. See, a good thing about a slave, it's like a cow. It's like a workhorse. You have a vested interest in the health of that workhorse. A commodity is quite different. Quite different. We wish we were slaves. Slaves have rights to help with the plantation. They have some rights. The master has a vested interest in your health. A commodity, not at all. A commodity is like a rock. A commodity is like a mineral. They'll sell you off to another nation. They'll kill you, do whatever they got to make sure that the plantation stays profitable. And in the model we're going on, when you think about automation, they're using all the automation for the big corporations and the elites, the people who own the governments. You're just a commodity. They have no issue having killer robots go out in there and take you out. They have no issue creating real pandemics. They have no real issue releasing bioweapons. They have no, you're not even a slave. And we need to act like it. And that happened in 1871. When this became a corporation, it meant that you were now just a piece of ownership. You're just a little thing. And right now you work for them. You're still picking cotton. You're still working in an office. You're still doing some things for them. When they have robots and software to replace all of that, you have no value at all. There's no value to keeping you alive. There's no value keeping you around. Why would they? Why would power and money keep you and your little children around, useless eaters? Why would they keep you around? Why would they give you what do they call this? Stacks with the trailer parks where they stack them on top of each other in the move. Why would they even give you that? Why would they move to Elysium and drop food down to you? That's the question. And they wouldn't. There's no reason to. When your corporation that it was designed to look like a government looks at you like you're a commodity, that is not something you want to reboot to normal. That's when you stand up with other people and say, nah, we're not commodities. We're human beings, I got some chipmunks in my yard. They're fast though. Well, okay, Hillary, how do chipmunks taste? I eat a chipmunk if I have to. This is the times. I don't eat meat. I don't eat but tough times you gotta eat. How do squirrels taste? Anybody know how squirrels taste? Can you eat the tail? These are things I don't want to discover and I don't want to know. There's videos all on YouTube. You can download them. There are links to learn how to download videos. You need to download the videos that'll keep you strong, but I don't want to eat squirrel tail. I think that's a bad idea. I don't want to get squirrel tail hairs between my lips. I know where their anus is and I don't want that anywhere in my soup, but we will do what we have to survive. I think chipmunks is cute. Albert and his friends should remain on television, not in my salad. But when we're forced to survive, we'll do what we have to do. It's just we still have time to divert this. We don't have to do this. We can divert this. We don't have to let their plan completely roll out, which is why your government, both political parties, still have a 3-stage thing to elongate restarting the economy, because they just don't want to tell you what the Federal Reserve already told you. You're already in a depression, and you're not going to see the worst of it when they restart things. You're going to see the worst of it after the next quarter, when all those businesses collapse and that unemployment goes through the roof. Then you'll find out why they need a National Guard on the streets. Hunt a deer, hunt a squirrel, hunt some rats. What is the name of that show where they changed it? They don't call them miles no more. They call them rat holes. Who wants children that calls their mouth a rat hole because they eat rats so much, and they so many generations in the future, they don't even know what food is. They don't even know what kissing, because all that lovey-dovey stuff goes away when you're in survival mode. You know, go to the inner city. They'll show you what survival mode is. Go to a trailer park. You'll learn what survival mode is. We can build a better world, but it means we got to stop fighting amongst ourselves. Saltine crackers mixed in hamburger, canned salmon, tuna, etc. Make it go a long way. Yes, Patricia, I've had to do that. I've had to do that. And I've lived on both sides of those tracks. I lived on the privileged side, I lived on the poor side, and I lived back on the privileged side, and now I'm somewhere in between. But where I am right now, Patricia Hauser, is I'm in a place where I don't think anybody should be forced to make any of those choices. Right? We know that we don't actually have to be slaves and commodities, that we can be free people, but we got to stand up for each other's sovereignty. It tastes like squirrel tastes like chicken. Patricia Howard said that she may not be lying. She might actually she might actually know. Do they taste like chicken? I don't want to know what squirrel tastes like, and I damn sure want to know what people taste like. But we'll do what we have to. I don't want to know what horses taste like. I don't really want to know what tabby cats nor dogs taste like. I think we need to go another direction. All right. When we have nothing, when we have nothing to lose, we will learn to fight. Yes, Jack Hall, that is true. And I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. I don't think, I'm in shape, but I don't think that's a good idea. I would prefer that we fight by walking away. I prefer that we stage a love-evolution, not a revolution, a love-evolution. Love your neighbors, love everybody else, love the next generation enough that you don't want to keep banks and currency around to make them debt commodities the day that they're born. We can walk away, but like Jack said, if you push it to a fight, it's going to be a fight. Because a lot of us ain't gonna sit around and just let the new digital currency come. That's not gonna happen. I'm gonna let you know that right now, because we know what comes with the digital dollar. And the minute that they put that in the first stimulus bill, they were letting you know what's coming. That's 1984. It's the perfect, most efficient slave plantation where they can just kill people and drop them in garbage cans. They can delete your money anytime they want to, where the elites finally have total control. Fiat currency was a lie and a fake. Shoot. Gold-based and silver-based currency wasn't even a good idea. It was still barter in something that the lords and kings own more of. Digital currency is completely 100% fake, push a button. And anyone who has that kind of control over the human race doesn't have to have any respect for anybody. They can do anything they want anytime they want. Keep in contact with those vulnerable. My neighbor is isolating more and more, actually slipping from view. As I pass by her home, different behavior for her. She is kind of a loner, becoming extreme. Help those you can. And this is right, Sandy. And then go knock on her door and talk to her. Because a lot of people are slipping into depression, right? You can't lock people in their houses. That was never in the Constitution or Bill of Rights, but you don't have a Constitution nor a Bill of Rights. Locking people down will make them go crazy. It'll make them skittish, right? People now are getting scared of other people. They don't want to go around people. They're scared to touch them. Now more and more they're clinging to master's concepts of social distancing from people you need viruses and bacteria from, people you need to survive. They're developing this whole world of the government loves you more than other people. Be skittish. Don't let them become skittish. Go see your neighbors. Talk to your neighbors. Talk about what you're going to do in the greatest Great Depression that's right around the corner. Don't let them slip away. There are a lot of people, I think, Sandy, is sitting at home watching that TV, and the television is scaring them into being fearful of you. And so previously open people who actually don't know what's going on, people who don't know what financing and banking is and currency collapsing, people who don't know what central banks are, people who still believe that the central banks report to the federal government. You still have people who believe this nonsense, who refuse to read the law. It's just about, I think, having a conversation with them. Tell them, say, hey, listen, I got your back. You got my back? I got your back. I had that meeting, Sandy, with my neighbors. Hey, you got my back? Yeah, okay. I got your back too. My neighbors, I really didn't talk to too much. I talk to them every now and then. We wave, we're friendly if we got time. I'm always tend to be too busy, Sandy, but I'm not too busy now. I sat down, we had our meeting. I said, listen, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I told y'all about that a month ago, 2 months ago. I said, listen, I've been following investment bankers. I've been following financial analysts. They were saying the currency is going to collapse. They just needed a false flag to help collapse it. If they're right and I'm right and what they're trying to say is what's actually happening, what are we going to do on the other side of this? And we started putting together a plan. How are we going to make a strong community? And you got to have a strong community. Even if I lived in the city, I'd be out in the, if I knew somebody in the suburbs, hey, listen, I'm in the city. I don't want to stay here. I know it's going to happen. You know, people turn into zombies in the Great Depression. And there are some people stand in line for food, and some people will murder everybody in your house for food. Can I come out and stay with you? I can get a tent. I can stay in the backyard. The weather's pretty nice. If you got a garage or something, I'll stay in there in the basement. I'll grow food for you. You got the land. I don't have a place to stay. I'll come out there and stay with you, and I'll grow food for you in your yard, for you and me. You know, work together, stuff like that. And hopefully, if you're wrong, you laugh about it later. See, that makes for a great neighbor conversation anyway. If y'all remember that time that crazy dude and that crazy lady came up over here, she said the world's going to end, bad things happen, that the central banks can run the government and own everything. Y'all remember how crazy that was? We all got scared, got ready. Yeah, that didn't happen, you know, but they learned. So when it does happen, you're ready. People need to expose themselves to how the real world works. Let me see. Oh, happy birthday. Thank you so much. Not my birthday no more, but thank you so much. I love the Tribe, Nomad, MC Club, Motorcycle Club. Oh, you know what? Motorcycle Club. What are you talking? Are you talking about when Jack was that was his name wasn't wait a minute, wait a minute. When he's Ragnar Lothbrok when the first fight came to him. Is that the same dude, Jax? Is that Jax from, I think it is, from, what's the name of that show? I love that. That was a great show. The Motorcycle Gang Club. Yeah, that show. And but see, you know what's funny? He was the same character in that movie too, wasn't he? Grew up poor. He was poor, and he didn't bring the fight. He didn't take the fight to the Banks. The Banks brought the fight to him. So he did what he had to do. He joined the motorcycle gang in the other one. He fought for his freedom. And in this one, he became King, Lord God. Then he went crazy and died and on some drugs and stuff. But see, he was the same character. Fight came to him. He had the courage to step up. He's the same exact. He's like Samuel Jackson, but different kind of skin. Don't cuss a lot. He didn't call everybody an MFer. But the same thing, you know, in one, the king that he was under came for him. And in the other show, the bank he was under came for him. I don't know who said that. Thank you for that connection. He was the same exact one. I also do that. What do you do, Jack? Happy birthday. Yeah, Sons of Anarchy. That's what it is. Sons of Anarchy. It's the same. It was the same thing. It's the same thing we're living today. We were just born here. We just wanted to be free on the Garden of Eden. But we had debt and a banking fight was brought to us. And so the same reason the kings did what they did was the same reason this young poor man who grew up poor and white in America had to join a gang. We talk about this all the time. I don't know why I never made that connection, that analogy. I was thinking that too. I have a spare room and it's available when or if the time comes, it can help me grow vegetables free. And this is the point, Trisha, is that whatever you do, it needs to be strong and sustainable to make yourself independent. And it takes friends to do that. You can't do it on your own. You will never be strong and independent on your own. You can have all the stocks of toilet paper and food and canned this, that, and the other that you want. If your neighbors are hungry, they're going to eat. They're going to come for it. You need to build groups of people. It's how we survive. The bigger tribes always survived bad times, right? But the beautiful thing is we don't even have to go there. We don't have to go to survive. All we got to do is help each other. During the Great Depression, people pulled together. During the Great Depression, that was the most prolific thing, was people pulled together because they had the land to do that. You know, they had the connections and the friendships to do that. I have bricks of silver, and that's not bad to have, Justin. Having gold and silver is not a bad thing to have. We mentioned that the other day, just like thinking out loud. Money is the problem, right? Money and currency is the problem because currency is nothing. It's a fantasy. It's useless. But if you have a gold brick or you have a silver brick, first of all, Justin, don't ever tell nobody that on the internet. Don't, brother, don't ever post that on the internet. Don't do that. You might want to delete that comment. That's number one. Number two, it actually has value. Money has a fantasy value. Money's value is in fear. But if you actually have something that has value, then you can make it on the other side of whatever this is. Gold and silver will always have value because you use them in circuit boards for drones, automated cars, self-driving cars, whatever, jewelry. Those things will always have value. Currency will not. Numbers in a bank account will not. I have loaded weapons in arm's reach. They're just as prepared too. I understand you, brother. I understand you. You have to defend what is yours. But I also keep in mind too that the people who were poor, like Brother Jacks, they're armed, right? They're armed too. You live in the hood. These people are part of gangs, and you only shoot so many people. You only shoot so many people. Like I was actually, Justin, I was talking about with my neighbor the other day. He's a hunter, military guy, shooter. I always surround myself with people who can shoot because I know how to shoot. It's always good to make sure you can grow and shoot because you never know what's coming. And I'm good, but I'm not like really heavy there, right? In terms of defending, I'll defend what I have to. I don't really want to, but I will. And the reason why is because in the bad times, the vast majority of people who are going to be roaming from house to house and neighborhood to neighborhood are going to be children, right? Because most parents are going to feed their children, which is going to lead them down into that starvation area and perhaps dying. Like what we deploy in other nations, which is why karma is a mother hubba hubba hubba. Always comes back to us. So how do people in Yemen and Bolivia and was Venezuela, all the countries that we were cheering to go into poverty, what they got to endure, we're going to have to endure if we're not careful, if we don't change our ways, is that most of the people going from house to house are going to be kids. And you can only, I think, keep their mental faculties shooting anybody, but for so long, right? The same problems we have with soldiers who go overseas, why we shouldn't be in these wars, is the same problems most people have if we let some sort of starvation, Great Depression happen. The Federal Reserve is right. We're already in a depression because we're on their model, and we are going to be in the Great Depression ever, greatness ever, great that everybody's going to talk about, but ain't nobody going to talk about in the future because they all going to be dead, right? If we stay on their model. We don't have to do their model anymore. Their model is debt and currency based. Defend the okra? No, do not defend the okra. Let the okra just burn up in the field. Let it die. What you do, Bofon, on that one, you let the chipmunks and the squirrels eat the okra if they're stupid enough, and you eat the chipmunk or the squirrel. That's what you do. But don't put anything in your mouth that's going to give you diarrhea, defecation, dehydration. Let me see. Gerard, I bet if you bought a gun, you'd buy another. Gerard, I bet if you bought a gun, you'd buy another. Well, ML, I'll say this. No, I'm not anti-gun. Y'all, if y'all don't know about, I'm not anti-gun. I'm pro-Second Amendment. Big time. I am pro-spear. I know what happens when people show up to your coastline with ships and they're poor and their king needs to have some slaves. I know what happens. So I'm pro-spear. I'm big time pro-gun. And I never said I don't own a gun. I just, like I was telling Brother Justin, if I did, I'm not telling none of the monkeys. To me, I think the most powerful thing is knowledge, right? When you have knowledge that other people don't have, then you're always prepared. I will say this, and I'll just leave it there. I know how to shoot. I know how to shoot. I love AK-47s. I do, but I don't ever want to use one. The only thing I want to shoot with those is bottles. It's the only thing I want to shoot. The other thing I like the World War II weapon, but let me stop. We can't talk about that because unfortunately we're on Facebook and other places. Oh no, yeah, people got the O signs. Oh no, don't let the smooth hippie fool you. And I ain't that smooth, and I may not even be that hippie, but don't let the smooth taste fool you. I love life and I love kids. And in most scenarios that are sentient, feeding them food and giving them a place to live is what they need. In other scenarios, you have to be strong. You know what? Being an adult, people, and once again, let's clarify. Like I said, I am not for a revolution in any way, shape, or form. I do not believe in violence at all. I believe in force. When people show up, you need to know how to take care of you and yours. You need to know how to take care of you, and so I don't want to go there because I know how that ends, right? That always takes us right back down the same road we left. Somebody wins in the end. They think that they're powerful. They think that they're right, and they want to build another society full of slaves, and I don't want to do that again. I think that's a bad idea. I think, you know, with the slave coastline slaver showing up analogy I was thinking about this morning, when they mentioned the digital dollar, that should have let everybody know what they were up to. When it was time to create, I can show you something. When it was time to create a stimulus package, and their answer for that was digital dollar, at that point, everybody should have known what they were up to. Right? There was something that the Iceland king said, the president. He said that, oh, let me go find his exact quote. Did I post it? I'm pretty sure I did. Where is it? No, you know what? I must have put it on the page. When they created the digital currency, when they tried to slip that in the stimulus bill, you should have known they weren't trying to protect you. You should have known that their first response was to protect their friends on Wall Street, not you, when they tried to slip that digital dollar in. You should have known it was about banking. At that point, it was like slave ships showing up on the coast. That was the analogy that I was thinking about. Like, because people were talking about it, people are running around saying, hey, you know, it's slave ships on the coast, it's slave ships on the coast. They're grabbing people, and when they grab people, we have no idea where they go, but they don't come back. It's slave ships on the coast. And when you see sign confirming that this was about banking and that this was about enslaving us further to like social credit scores and digital currency in 1984 and automated robots, and they need us to be happy living on $1,200, $1,400 a month, making us the perfect welfare queens and slaves. Once you saw the digital currency was their answer to helping you through a pandemic, you should have known that this was a scam. They pulled it out though. Last I recall, they pulled it out the bill, they slipped it in somewhere else. Nancy Pelosi pulled it out, and what is her name? Maxine Waters, she slipped it in another bill. So the digital dollar is coming, and that is your shackle. That's what's going to shackle you and your children to these billionaires, these trillionaires for the next couple hundred years until they got robots to do everything, and then your children and grandchildren will be put down like dogs. Here we go. This is what I want to show you right here. Iceland being the example. History is so important. History repeats itself, and we need to learn from history. What is his name? He was the president of Iceland, and this is what they did different when this happened. So we introduced currency controls. We let the banks fail, and we provided support for the poor. Right? They provided support for the poor. They were a government. They weren't a corporation, to my understanding, at that time, who was shaped to look like a government. They weren't organized to look like a government. They were an actual government. This is how you know you have a government. When bad times come, they come for you to help you. They don't try to make things worse on you. They don't take that moment to do what has nothing to do with you, but just something that controls you, which is that digital dollar. That was like slave ships showing up on the coast, confirming the rumors that the financial analysts have been saying for a long time. Super, enough depression. Have a nice day. I wonder if I could grow veggies in my 10-second bedroom. It gets morning sun. Yes, you can, Patricia. You're not going to grow enough to eat, probably long enough. I don't know how big the room is, but what you want to look at, Patricia Hauser, is something called aquaponics, right? If you get enough sun through those windows, if your windows are big enough, you can actually put a mini aquaponic system. You could do them in fish tanks. Now, the thing is, you got to do it in a very special way. I probably should do an aquaponic video and kind of talk about that. You can grow Chinese cabbage, you can grow lettuce, you can grow like deep leafy greens. You're not going to do tomatoes and peppers or anything big, but you can grow deep leafy greens, right? And you have to learn how to forage. You can live on an aquaponic system in a southern facing window where you're just picking leaves and you're eating leaves. You're rationing food, but it'll keep you alive. Probably better than eating squirrel tails and goldfish and getting them to eating your pets. Probably would be better than that. Let me see. Protection. Absolutely, Sandy. You have to. If you can't protect yourself, then somebody's gonna take everything that you have because they're supposed to. Everything is about energy collection. We have a lot of poor people in the country, and they're gonna do what they're supposed to do when bad times come. If you have and they do not, and you're not sharing with them, and which you may not have enough to share, they're going to come and take from you, and that's what they're supposed to do. But you're supposed to be smart, and you are prepared, and it's always survival of the fittest. You need to make sure that you protect yourself. But let's just try to avoid that if we can. Let's try to avoid that, and let's work together now while we still got time. Force will be met with defense. It should be, Rebecca. That's how survival of the fittest works. Very astute to contemplate private corporations that can print print almost planet when collapsing. I can't, you know what? Let me go over here. I can't see all the comments. I need to look at the comments. I'm just reading comments today. Let me see. Very astute to contemplate private corporations that can print almost any currency on the planet while collapsing. It can't go on. It cannot be sustained. We are at the end of the exponential curve. Yes, we are, Justin. And you know what? I was thinking about that earlier this morning. My brain doesn't let me stop thinking. It's always trying to think about how do we thrive. I hate thinking about how to survive. How do we thrive? And I think about it from a model perspective. You know, I like to do best as I can to stay principle minded. In that every currency collapses. Every currency has always collapsed. They created currencies knowing that they'll collapse. They always know that they're unsustainable. You create the digital dollar, eventually that will collapse too. We have exponential growing population, and you can only print so much money. The way that Ponzi scheme pyramid works is you can only have a few on the top, and the more they have on the top, the wider the base of the pyramid has to be. And eventually it gets too wide and the thing has to collapse, and they restart it. So we've been restarting currencies generation after generation after generation after generation after generation, until finally maybe now we have an internet, Justin, and people might get a clue. Currency systems don't work. Banks don't work. They were designed to enslave people, which is why Christ hated them, and is why that was the only time he got caught a case and turned over the tables in the church. It had nothing to do with the banks and the money changers were in the church. It had to do with the fact that they actually existed. He knew the future of how this goes. It always ends up in collapse, people dying, and then all the power is consolidated and pushed to the top, which is what's happening in America right now, which is what happened at the Great Depression, which is what's happening in most of the Rothschild nations. They're collecting their cash. They're looting the country. They're collecting their due. They're buying up nations and large or corporations and large swaths of lands, and they're going to give you the bill. They're going to give you the bill. I liked the brother. I posted it on my other page. Brother Best Evidence, the banker guy. You know, he just said, I mean, the whole purpose of the Federal Reserve is to act like a bank. The whole purpose of central banks are to act like banks, and that is to pass the buck to you. To pass the buck, to make you pay for the scam that they did, which is why we have a staged restart. They're going as long as they can till they bring things back online, even in the obvious face that this was all a scam. But they're making y'all pay for the shutdown. That's what it always is about. The banks make you pay for their looting. You know, bank charges. You know, and every day just racking up billions of dollars that you will pay them back. And it's the most insane thing. We have to move away from currency systems. But the great thing, like I said, Justin, is we got the internet now. We know we can 3D print everything. We know that we actually don't need currency systems anymore. And if we want to be free, we can't have currency systems. If we want to have sovereignty and liberty and freedom and all that beautiful stuff, we can't do it. All right, y'all talking about, oh, Brother Tony got his too. I know he ready to go. I know he a thug. That brother, he got all kind of AK-47s and Colt 45s. Wait a minute, Colt 45 as in Billy D or Colt 45 as in Get Out My Garden? Which one you got? Because you're going one is for the good times, others for the bad times. Brother Fred, good morning. Good morning, Rachel and Julie, Emma. Let me see. I second that motion. What motion are you second, both? Are you replying to somebody else? East Slave Coast and West Slavery. Slavery is always advertised on the coast, on the costs. The Democrats still the racist identity politics party, just as they were in the past, when they passed the Act of 1871. And yeah, because it works, Tony. It's because it works. Like I was talking about the sister this morning. She's a good sister. She's intelligent as all get out. Intelligent as all get out. But the problem is they pick these identities because they really tap into people's emotions. The only way you can break intelligent people is with emotions, right? They always have to revert back to race. You can get people to give up their sovereignty, their freedom. You can get them to give up their property, their land. You can get them to give up their rights, anything, if you can tap into their emotions. And that's why they still tout it. Like Tony, I saw it coming like 2 weeks ago. I tuned into the news for only but a moment, and they were talking about how COVID affects the black population more than the white population. It's a scam. It's a scam. The way my mind works now, Tony, growing up in the Washington, D.C. area in the shadow of the Black Caucus, anytime somebody wants me to line up with them because of my religion, my race, where I live, the size of my feet, my hands or something, anytime they want to do that, my eye color, I know they're trying to scam me. They're trying to sell me on I'm one of them. And I'm not one of y'all. I don't even know what y'all are anymore. I thought I knew what people were, but I don't know what they are now. I see them lining up and they're happy because they got big houses next to the master's house at the plantation. I don't know people. So I ally with people who have an interest in the truth. I ally with people who have an interest in freedom. Freedom for us and more freedom for the next generation. I ally with those people. Those are the people. Everybody's my brother and sister, but the closest people to me are the people who sync up with the idea that the human race should be free as squirrels, that we're gonna be eaten later. Free as chipmunks, that we might have to eat later. If we can be free as the animals, as any bird, bee, bug, mosquito that flies, I sync up with those people. Those are my people. I'm sorry, everybody's my people, but some of my people are closer than other people. And the people who are like cheering slavery for me, I might have to hold you at a little bit of a distance. The people that still, cheering a system that views me as a commodity, I'm not sure you love me as much as I need you to love me. People that are cheering, I can't go to the local store without a mask on, I'm not sure you love me as much as I need you to love me. These other people tend to love me a little more. They think I'm grown. They think I can go to the store. They think I can go to the park. They think I can go out and do things without consent of bankers and lords. They tend to love my freedom as much as I do, and I love their freedom. I'm a standing for their freedom. Hopefully they standing for my freedom, how they say, and that's how we're going to get down. Everybody's family, but some of the family will burn you up for their master. Good morning, Dale. Good morning, Jasmine. Let me see. What's that, D? So how about the depopulation? Demons working to kill us all with everything we need. We who can't defend ourselves against our only iOS death or the coming of Christ. Well, the first part of that, depopulation has always been a plan of the government. That's always been a plan of power systems. Government's the wrong word, right? Government governs, they manage, they rule, right? Like kings and lords and everything else. We got worse than that. We don't have a government. We got a corporation, which we talked about a moment ago. But depopulation is on their plan too, right? Everything for a corporation is about profit. So I'm not going to talk about it from a government perspective. I'll talk about it from a profit perspective. Everything is profit, right? If you got too many workers, you got to get rid of some. And in a corporation, it's called being laid off. What happens when you have a corporation that's organized to look like a government that needs to lay some of its commodities off? What does that look like? It's called depopulation. They're depopulating the work environment. When they get rid of people out your office, they're depopulating your office to keep the profits high. When you got too many people, you got to reduce the count, and that's what's happened. What D said right there is just history. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is what happens with power systems. Power and control systems only keep the power and the profit if they keep down the amount of useless eaters or the people who are in their organizations that don't have a place. All very true. We who can't defend ourselves against our only out of iOS. How come when I see iOS, I think about iPhones? Or do you mean death of the coming Christ? I think the Christ consciousness is coming back, D. I don't think it's the way that I was raised to believe it is. I don't think it is what I was raised to believe it is. I think that King James modified a lot of that stuff to control me. But whatever the Christ consciousness is, which is love and natural law and looking out for each other, like those truths go back to the beginning of time. I think there is some sort of shift where we're shifting in the galaxy or the universe or whatever. But I don't think that whatever those things were, that consciousness, it would ever leave or forsake us. I think it's a watcher. I think it watches. And right now it's answering a lot of prayers. Like I said, D, I think, sis, that I probably called this, like I said, I think I caused it. I needed a change. I've been praying without ceasing once I realized that the world was a slave plantation, that things change. And now we have an opportunity to shift the paradigm and avoid a Great Depression. Yeah, I just think they're teachings, Justin. I think they're teachings. They were truths that were handed down to us, and they've been modified over time to reduce our power. Brother Tony talks about that a lot. Lori said vaccine kill. They absolutely do kill, and that's a fact. She's a nurse, and she just posted a fact. And not even that she's a nurse, but the fact that they have a vaccine injury fund. You need to go do your homework and to have the courage to go look into that instead of begging for a cure from the people who are poisoning you. Do you out there warn people that staying home will make things worse? Get a ha-ha and something wrong with you when I try. Yeah, well, Jennifer, you're going to have to get your ha-has. You got to get your ha-has, right? In order to get more people, let me get rid of the president right here. And he still is a president. He's still a king and a lord. But he actually did the right thing. He actually was operating as a government looking out for his people. The only way to get more people on top of the crocodile to realize that it's fake is you got to get the ha-has. You got to get the ha-has. You got to get the people. And don't worry about it. Still love them, Jennifer. Love them. Most of my family is ha-ha. But the reality is, cullings always come, unfortunately. Survival of the fittest never stop. What the kings and lords knows when they pull these depopulation events, they always get their pound of flesh. They always call back the herd. They may not win in the end, but they know they're going to call back. And people who don't see it coming, there's really nothing. All you can do is tell them. There's some people who don't want to live in an afterworld too, right? There's some people who don't want to live in a world where we're all free and a resource-based economy. We got automation and humans are free. Some people don't want that world, or some people don't want to pay the price to get to that world. They rather keep things just as they are. People hate change. And when change comes, those people usually get swallowed up. So all you can do is tell people and take the ha-has. But we have to love the future enough to take the ha-ha. I wish Tony lived near me. He doesn't live near you, Jennifer. Where do you live? Kissinger. Oh, Lord Justin. Is he still around? Did we not get him yet? They would be awesome to see that perp walk. Yeah, we probably won't, Justin. We probably won't, but it would be nice. It would be nice to see justice for once in the United States of America that has a Justice Department. It would be nice to see something just, but I don't think we'll see that. I'm pushing for that. He is one of the greatest war criminals that's ever walked the planet. How is he still bopping around Washington, D.C., stopping at his local Starbucks? Boggles my mind. That should tell you that the police aren't there to protect us. But they actually said that. Well, the police are, because they're just people. But the organization isn't there for our protection. Otherwise, they start roping up the people who are in league with these central banks, the people who are still playing politics on the stage. Conspiracies are real and kill us. They absolutely are real and they kill us. Like, when you say that, Lori, I think about, how you're supposed to recognize the difference between fear mongering and real danger. And if the conspiracy makes money, then if it creates energy, then to me, it's just a business plan and somebody's doing it. And that's real danger, which means you need to pay attention to us. And yes, real danger absolutely kills. I'm gonna go down fighting. Let me know when it's time to kill some treasonous domestic terrorists. And Brother Tony knows who they are. But that's what every man has, which is the funniest thing. And I don't know why somebody got hit the other day with hate speech. I can't even say what she said. It was like a childish thing to say. It was a funny thing, but it was hate speech, but we won't go there. But recognizing who the enemy is, who's telling you you don't even have a right to speak. You don't even have a right to talk. You can't even talk like an adult. Like being able to identify who the enemy is. But, when you said that, what I was thinking of, Tony, is the fact that every man has it in him. I think every woman too. We all got it in us, but we don't want it to come out. Like Tony, I know me, and me putting on a hippie face, it was protection. It was protection. It was evolution and protection. It was protection from myself and evolving. I know I got a monster in me, and I know what I'm capable of, and I don't want the world to ever know what I'm capable of. I don't want my neighbors, anybody around me, my kids, anybody know what I'm capable of. I know me too well. That's why I'm about love everybody. I'm about love everybody, not because I'm soft. I'm saying love everybody because I need to protect the entire world from what I know I'm capable of. I don't ever want those things to come out. The love that I have, when you got real love in you, there isn't anything you wouldn't do to make sure that the people around you are safe. I don't ever want that monster coming out. That monster has no place. That monster's only place is to protect the tribe, right? And that's what Brother Justin's talking about too, that the monster's place is to protect the tribe. Men are given strength not to abuse, but to defend. Why? Because you always had wolves, you always had banks, you always had velociraptors, you always had Democrats, you always had bears, you always had Republicans, you always had predator banks coming for you. And that's why men have the ability. And I don't know what it is, I'm gonna tell you, and I know these brothers feel it too. And I know women feel it too, because women have even more tolerance for pain than what we do. When you get upset, when you need to do some defending, and keep in mind, I like to put it in this context because it is defense. It's never an offense. Psychopaths and real monsters are the ones who use their strength in offense and abuse. They do violations, which is violence. There's a difference between defense, because you're defending your tribe, the reason why you have a stronger stature, and a psychopath seeking to abuse and violate. And everybody has that. We just don't need to trick that out. I think we can thrive, and if we can thrive, why in the world would we be flirting with the idea of creating violent times? You know, in the face of a violent corporation that's pretending to be a government. You know, but that's the whole point. There's this: the fight wasn't started. We didn't start the fight, but don't ever be mistaken. There's a whole bunch of us that will finish it. I just don't think we have to go there. I think we, instead of setting ourselves back another 50, 100 years, why don't we just take where we are and just go to somewhere amazing, where eventually those skill sets and that ability to just see red and to do a horrible task doesn't have to be there. That eventually epigenetics will take that out of us. We're not in the jungle anymore. We don't actually have to act like we're in the jungle. All right, everyone on one accord. Sandra, that's the only thing that opened the park, is the only thing that's going to free America and Ireland and Britain and Australia and everybody around the world, is people getting on one accord with the base core sync, which is freedom and sovereignty. Gates patented the virus, the vaccine for it, and the ID 2020 chip. Yes, he did. And all these things are syncing all up, Lord. When you start to do that research and you start to look out there and you see how all these things link together, you realize what's going on when you got the courage to look. Absolutely. Just like when Gates made computer viruses so he could sell antivirus software, and ML, and the links between virus and antivirus software. I'll tell you all about it. I'm almost done with doing my next analogy, but there is no question why Bill Gates is involved with vaccines. Vaccines and Microsoft and Big Pharma have a lot in common, more than I thought they ever did. The truth about vaccines premieres today for the people who made the truth about cancer. Yep, Christine, well, it's a project. It's all a project. It was always about making money. They're just trying to make money. The people who poison you are never out there to save you. These people are convinced they're doing the right thing for the devil Luciferian. Yes, they are, Justin, because they're scared. They're scared. That's why I like the idea of courage. Strong people don't ally with demons. Strong people don't ally with warmongers dropping bombs on babies. Strong people don't ally because they're not scared of a stronger force. They're not scared of the psychopath, right? Like Ragnar Lothbrok took on his king. Why did he take on his king? Because he wasn't scared. He knew he had to do the right thing, and he did the right thing. And sometimes the right thing is dark, and we don't have to do the dark thing. We can just walk away if we choose to. Accepting change is another secret to a long life. Must be flexible. Absolutely, Sandy. Sandy, another way of saying that is you just must be an adult. You know, change is scary, and it scares children. It does not scare adults. We see a better world. We need to grab that better world. Which reminds me, I saw something powerful. I gotta show you all this. Did y'all see this? This was beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. Last thing I posted. I'll show you a piece of. Brother wrote a book. He was telling you about the book, but he also had a great video just showing you, the world that we could have. He said so many things that made me know that he knows what's going on. Right here.
In the know, and are perhaps in the state of this. This is a message for all those around the world who are in the know and are perhaps in a state of fear or doubt. For those who have some idea of what is actually going on behind the scenes right now, as we are watching the war between the deep state and the free-thinking people of the world. I know that it is hard watching your freedom being taken slowly away. And I know that it is hard, even still, to watch those around you who don't know blindly moving towards a future that will make this moment look like a walk in the park. And I know that it is hard to watch as others resist, especially your loved ones, any new information that could potentially free their minds. But this is not a message of hopelessness. And this is not a message of hope either. Because in these moments, hope isn't enough. This is a message of courage. These moments right now, my brothers and sisters, are not the end. These moments right now define us to the very core of who we are and test us to the very bottom of our humanity. If you find yourself in dismay, if you find yourself in fear, don't stay there. Feel the fear, feel the dismay, entertain it even, but do not stay there. Go beyond that veil of hopelessness. Go beyond that fear and have the courage to dream a better world even when it seems impossible. This is the meaning of courage. To have courage when it is hard, not only when it is easy. Let me tell you what I have seen. I have seen a world where we wake up and everything is the same, but something is so very different. Where we know deep in our hearts that everything is one. I have seen a world where free energy and technologies that free us from the dependency of the hierarchy of power are there at our disposal, with each home and community on the planet powered with its own device. I have seen a world where we travel freely through the skies, not on airplanes, but on craft with engines that can manipulate gravity and the very fabric of space and time to take us to the stars. Families and communities uniting together in the name of freedom of thought and the development and emergence of source consciousness. A world where the known cures for disease are finally out in the open, accepted and investigated, coveted and protected, instead of being shunned and ignored. A world where the real healers of medicine of this planet are invited and honored, instead of violated, imprisoned, and murdered. A world where the word of the day isn't just, "Hey, how are you?" but "Hi, how can I serve you? Tell me the vision in your heart and maybe we can create it together." A world that worships not actors, not Hollywood, not possessions, not competition, but compassion and one another. And that is what I hold with my heart. That is what I share with you here today through these words. And the conviction that this is possible and that we are not moving away from this vision right now because I know you too have the same vision in your heart and I know you too have dared to dream it in this life. We are moving to it closer now, closer than ever. You have to realize and remember that the night is always darkest before the dawn. And that the closer you move to a breakthrough, the stronger the forces that push you away from it always are. And remember that 99% of all people quit right before the finish line. This is where the battle is won, inside of our minds and inside of our hearts, not out there in the field. So if you're wondering what to do right now, what action you can take, the most important thing that you can do right now is to be stronger than ever within yourself. This is not a time to idly hide in the darkness, to wait for things to wash over so you can go back to work. Because that's not going to happen. We are not going to go back to the world the way it was. One way or another, it's going to be completely different. And how that world is going to look is entirely up to you and all of us together. This is a time to step into your light, stronger than ever. This is a time to speak your truth. This is a time to step into your gifts and to be of service to others. This is a time not to entertain fear and hopelessness, but to burn brighter than ever, to take bold risks, even if it means discrimination, even if it means risking your reputation. This is a time to do that thing that you've always been afraid to do. Because what is being used against us in this very moment is our inability to deal with our relationship to fear itself, and our inability to deal with our relationship to the fear of death. This is a time when we need to kindle that relationship very strongly, and to use our fear and our fear of death as an ally. An ally to teach us how to stay strong, even in the presence of these extremely powerful sensations. For we are immortal beings, capable of creating so much more than we've ever been told. We are capable of creating a world of peace, a world operated by our own consciousness that is free and limitless, where we are free to finally bring forth the technologies and ideas that will solve the greatest problems facing humanity, and so much more. So my brothers and my sisters, if you're feeling afraid, if you're feeling doubt and anxiety, please know that these feelings are mainly just an attempt to budge us ever so slightly into an alternate timeline, but only as long as we entertain it. So feel the fear, feel the anxiety, but know that you are not that. You are not this feeling. You are not this mind. You are not this body. You are so much more. And together, in this knowing, we can stand united as one people, as one planet, conscious, whole, and free.
Yet, how do you not get a little misty-eyed on that? Like, I've yet to see a video that just went through everything that we've talked about. Just went through all of it and just really summed it up. We are at a paradigm shift. You know, we do have the ability to pick up and run right now. We actually have a time in the human race, which probably only comes every couple hundred, couple thousand years, where we all have the same thing in common. The question is, are we going to pick up and run with it? You know, he hit everything. We can alter the timeline. We can go a different direction. We've been going slavery direction for so long now. We've been going control and keep everybody in conflict direction, and we can go a new way at any time we want. He talked about the technology. He talked about automation. We can automate the world. We can free people. People can be released to go be human beings. He nailed it all. Like, we are there. We are at the precipice. We can do phenomenal things. We have God-like technology. If you went back 100 years, the technology we have now is beyond what we could even fathom. And what are we going to do with it? Are we going to continue to let the people, a global cult, squander it and use it for profit and greed and more enslaving nations? Or are we going to just free the next generation? And the great thing about it is, some of us that are a little old, I'm getting up there in the age of 29, you know, at least the latter part of my life, I can enjoy it. But the next generation will enjoy it too. And I think that's the only purpose of the only reason why you're here. I just think that you're here to do your part. And I think our part is to leave this place a little better than how we found it. And the shame is, we are, don't be laughing at my age. We are a generation that has something to do, an opportunity that the next generation won't have. We're a generation that the previous generation didn't have an opportunity to have to do it. Only we can do this. Everybody else will have to do it with guns and tanks and bombs and drones and death and blood. Why in the world would we force them to do that when all we have to do is walk away right now? That's all we have to do, is walk away and be strong. Yeah, that made me a little misty-eyed. I'm a little sappy. I'm a little sappy, but it was a beautiful message. And I'll post the link. People need to share that out. And this brother apparently has a book, but what a phenomenal way to wrap up everything we've been talking about for the last 3-4 years, that this particular family's kind of been coming together. Yeah, sure, we disagree. Who cares? Who cares? We all agree on the same basic concept of sovereignty. We want to be left the hell alone. We want to be free. We're tired of struggling. We're tired of surviving, and we want to thrive. Let's go do that. That's all I'm saying. Let's go do that. We're the ones we've been waiting for, Dawn. We have. We are the ones. You know what's bigger than that, though, sis? It's bigger than that. We are the ones 10 generations have been waiting. We are the ones that will either free the next 10 generations, or we will enslave them, or we will cause them to go extinct. We're on that pivot shift. We're like, it's like handing a baton. Y'all know the baton races? And I'm not a runner. I only run when the police chase me. That's the only time I run. We're the baton. The baton has been passed to us, and we are the last ones. We can run this sucker in and win the whole damn thing if we choose to. If we choose to. But the baton is only in our hand. We are the ones. We are the ones. Are we going to still continue to squabble over dumb stuff? Are we still going to continue to make up stuff? Or are we going to say, no, you know what? The only thing that's important right now is freedom. Freedom from banks, freedom from debt, freedom from currency, freedom from control, freedom from all the things that keep us a controllable human race. We either stand on that and we walk away from control systems and we group up with each other the same way they open that park in my neighborhood. We either work together or we go ahead and just wait for the news to tell us when the end is coming. All right. Beautiful message. Beautiful, beautiful message. Link above. Thank you. Thank you, Lola Mar, for that. I got a little something in my throat. It might be the cuckoo. Like, yeah, Gerard, you making some sounds out there, brother. You go looking a little sweaty. That's okay. It's the flu. I'm supposed to get it every year. The good thing is the symptoms don't stay with me. Now, I don't know. I think it's pollen, but anyway. On one accord with you. Okay, well, I'm glad. Thank you, Sandra. I'm on one accord with you, too. We need freedom. I don't think the underclass has access to that technology. No, they don't, Rebecca, and they need it. They need it. They have as much right to the technology as I do. They have as much right to the automation as I do. They have as much right, but what they don't have, Rebecca, is they don't have people standing up for them who have the technology. They don't have people standing up for them who have the voice. They don't have people who have voices giving them voices. Most of the people with voices are speaking for themselves, speaking for their political party, speaking for their race, speaking for whatever ignorant team they're on, right? We're either going to stand together with each other or we're going to be the greatest shame in the history of the human race. Because I think this is the last Kali Yuga. Right? I think in terms of yugas, you got the last one, the Kali Yuga. This is the shift. Nothing ever ends. Things just, the cycles repeat. And this cycle's going to repeat. We're going to go back around. The question is, are we going to go back around with the technology, with empowerment, with equality, with freedom, and restart the cycle? Or are we going to go back around and hand that all to the criminal elite, the cults that actually run everything, that keep everybody divided up, squabbling over their little silly stuff? You know, and that's where I think we are. Let's not create more division. Nope, Sandra, we can't create any more division. And we need to start shutting down the people who are doing it. And that's really where I think we are, Sandra. We need to start shutting down the people who are causing more problems. I'm glad you said that, because that's how I started this. I was singing Bob. We don't need no more monkeys. We don't need no more identities. We don't need anybody still cheering the same little ignorant conflicts that we've been cheering. This is not a fight to get equality. This is a fight for survival, right? This is an extinction level event. That's where we are. This is not a game. This is all hands on deck. If you're dividing up the people on the deck, you're going to have to be shut down. That's just where we are. We need to act like this is a fight for survival. These people are poisoning air, food, water, medicine, and depopulating. And with technology. Oh, did y'all try to, I got my EMF detector. Did I show y'all my EMF detector? I downloaded my app. Woo, his brother Justin's still here, bastard. He made me waste my time. Oh, I went and downloaded my EMF app. Do not download the EMF apps, y'all. Do not do it. Don't do it. Number one reason. It's kind of silly because you got to use your EMF app, your EMF phone to download an EMF detecting app to download the EMF detector app to monitor EMF. It's going to make you crazy. Don't do it. I drove around yesterday. I was trying it out. The whole thing sounded ridiculous to me, but I was trying it out. There's something to it. Justin, the one I got, I don't know what company it was. I'm not sure it worked well, but we don't actually have to download EMF detectors. They've already synced us up. We're cyborgs. They've already synced us up. Everybody, you want to know your EMF detector is? We already have it. It's called bars. Okay, that's your EMF detector. You don't actually have to download it. All you gotta do is look at the top of your phone, and if you got 4 or 5 bars, you get that endorphin hit, makes you feel good. You're getting all the radiation that you need. You're getting maximum radiation. I was laughing at the whole time yesterday. I said, you know what? Because I was thinking about the whole cyborg thing, and I was like, wait a minute. They've attached an endorphin response to us getting more higher EMF signals. Like, because when you see you got 4 or 5 bars, you're feeling good. Like, yeah, I got a strong signal. Makes you feel good. Your body releases the endorphins, makes you feel good. They literally attached a great feeling to us in an endorphin response to when we're getting the highest level of EMF radiation. We didn't even see that one coming. I didn't see that one coming. So yeah, but the EMF app is still there, and I deleted it in a minute. I drove around. It'll just make you crazy. All you need to know from my experience yesterday driving around doing my EMF detection from my EMF device in an environment that's always polluted with EMF is they should not have EMF. They shouldn't have EMF. Let me tell you what I was listening to this morning. And this is why. So we argue over the 4G, 5G, 3G, 2G, 6G, 1G. You know what China did? Did y'all know that China actually did that first quantum entanglement? They had a quantum conversation with particles in a satellite. I forgot the name of it. Somebody, you can look it up. I'll post a link later if you want to look it up. China sent up a satellite, split a particle with a laser, and shot the particle down 1,000 kilometers apart in 2 different laboratories and watched them quantumly entangle with each other. And they would affect one and it changed the other. And they affected the other and it changed the other. You know what that just proved? Not only, they've done that in labs. This is the first time it was done 1,000 miles apart and from a satellite. They proved quantum communication. They've proven that it can be done over vast differences, like distances. They just went the next step, proving that we can have quantum communication. Now, we don't know how to do that yet, or we don't know how to do that in the public domain, but they might know how to do that at DARPA. And what does that say about EMF? Why are we still using radiation to broadcast signals? Why are we using radiation devices when we can take resources and pump it into quantum communication and communicate through another dimension, which is how that works? And because it doesn't work in our physics, not in our domain, that's proof that there are other dimensions. Why are we using radiation that's killing us? Because we're stupid. Because we're divided, because we let the global elite that have all the money, own the currencies, have all the money and the power, have all the technology too, right? It's poisoning us. We know it's poisoning us. The doctors told us that. There's no discussion between 4G and 5G. There's no discussion for 5G. Anybody rolling out 5G is psychopathic. Anyone talking about 6G got real issues. The doctors already said it causes DNA damage and cancer, but we actually don't have to use it. If we actually used our technology efficiently, if we didn't have a global elite that has a gatekeeping embargo on all technology, we wouldn't have to worry about this nonsense. You know, because they love poison. They do, Todd. They love poison. Poison's profitable. And why the hell are you on Furious George? Are you in prison? Ty, you in prison again? Ty and got so many profiles. That's how you know your friends in jail. They've been saying something true somewhere because they get thrown in jail. We love poison. Poison makes profit. We got bank accounts. We love money. So of course, yeah, they're going to do whatever's profitable. A corporation runs our government. They're designed to look like the government. They're going to do whatever profitable. And at this point in time, poisoning people's profitable. Why? Because when we see 4 bars, we feel good. They tied us as cyborgs to our devices. Because we are centralized, why Walmart is the only thing open. Yeah, we are centralized and crony ties. We're centralized, crony ties. Plymouth Rock didn't land on us, Tony. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock, and something about Plymouth Beach Rock, something bamboozle, something like that. All of that. Just roll all that up in a bag of chips, right? Because Walmart's open. They're basically looting the middle class. That's what they did this at the Great Depression. This is not anything new. It's just history repeating itself again. The problem is we don't like to study history. We like to think that powerful countries don't like power. We like to think that powerful people don't like power, powerful families don't like power, banks don't like money, and systems don't like control. And that we're free. We're actually making the choices in our world by pulling levers. So yeah, they poison our mind, they poison our bodies, this is a poison industry. And it's all crony. It's all crony. Oh, is YouTube broken? We had a quantum love. There's all kind of quantum everything, Hillary. You know, we can poison another dimension, which is probably what we're doing. See that? No, it's kind of wrong because like we know we're poisoning us with EMF, Wi-Fi technology, you know, radiation. But the quantum entanglement, it sends that communication through another dimension. How do we know that something ain't over there that we poison them? We probably poison them, get them sick, and let them. But you know, it's better that they be sick. They only got 3 eyes and 4 legs and whatever's over there. You watch the mist, you know, who knows what's over in the other dimension. We can communicate through the quantum communications. But what we do know, there might not even be nothing over there. But what we know is we're killing people right here. You know, but if we actually utilize technology for the benefit of the human race, it's not a concern. Right now, technology utilized for the benefit of the few, which is why I always default and go back to technology. We can create an efficient society, but we don't want to. That's not good. Got banned because I told you to leave your house. Wait a minute, got banned because I told you to leave your house. You told people to leave their houses? What, you tell them to go live out in the woods? You tell them to go live out off-grid? Ty, what happened? That's not allowed on Facebook. You can't tell people go camping. We, the underclass, do not have access to the technology of the ruling class. We don't, Rebecca, but we can take it any day we choose to because it's our technology. All the power is with us. All the power is with us. The problem is we're divided. All the power, we can demand anything we want. There's more of us than it is of them. We've always had the power. They just convinced us that the power was in voting, that the power was in picking a lord and a king to represent us, when we actually always had the power. Our power is in our neighbors. Our power is in our unity. We've always had it. We just don't utilize it because we like drama a little more than freedom. All right. We are the ones, yeah, we've been waiting for Richmond, Virginia, gridlocking now live. What's happening in Richmond, Virginia, Lola Mar? Ooh, let's take a look. Lola Mar got something, a field trip we can take. Ooh, I want to see what's happening. And let me see if I can click on this. Can I click on it right there? No, I can't click on it there. Is it on my profile? I would love to click on that. I don't know how to do that in a way where it's not going to cause a problem. Hang on a second. We might get some buffering. We going on a field trip. Going on a field trip. On the road again. I can't wait to get back on the road again. On my something. Yeah, I can't wait to get back on the road again. No, I am not Brother Pat. I do not have a great voice. Let's go down and find Lola Mar's post. Let me see. Where is Lola Mar? Lola, is it on your profile, Lola Mar? That would be easier just to go to your profile. I got to go back all the way up through comments to try to click a button to go find the protest. Richmond, Virginia. It's about the guns again. They're trying to take our guns. You don't have to worry about them taking your guns. They got death energy weapons and killer robots. They don't really need guns no more. They got laser rifles and all kind of other fun stuff for us. They don't really have to worry about taking that. Oh, the content's not available right now. Think I'm lying? Let me show you. Think I'm lying? If I'm lying, I'm dying. And I am dying. Watch this. Everybody dies. But then again, nobody ever really dies. Look right there. Like, boom! Booyah! Content unavailable. Sorry, content is unavailable. See? This is what they do. This is how they control us. They control everything. Like George Carlin said, they control the water, they control the food, the air, the oxygen, the communication, the technology. And apparently that's not going to work. I try to reboot and see, no, I'm trying to refresh. Content's not available. Why? Because something effective is happening in Virginia right now. That's why. Something effective is happening. Maybe I can find it on, let's see if we can find it on YouTube. Hey man, is YouTube down? How come I don't see the YouTube comments coming in? I kind of like the idea. Hang on, let's do this. Let me get off of that. We're going to create some bugs. Hey Sandra, welcome back. Hey Christine, if you came back in. We're expertly trained in something, Ty. I was just trying to read it, but the screen flipped. Okay, that screen flipped. Let's go to YouTube. Let me see if I can find what's happening in Virginia. Just YouTube has a little more free speech right now. Oh, you know what? The best thing to do is just go home and see if there's a live video. If you got a YouTube link, Lola Mar, that would be great. No, I don't see it. I see something about Bill Gates. Field trip. Did y'all hear me just say field trip? Let me show you something. Oh my gosh, y'all, I love it when this stuff happens live. Because people think you're crazy. You mention a word, and the next thing you see, it pops up. Look at the videos I got on YouTube. I just went on to YouTube. Look at the suggested video to watch. Field trip. You know, it was only a few seconds. Only a few seconds. Now I don't see anything. I don't see live coverage, coronavirus coverage. No, Cuomo updates on New York, responses, Trump reopening the U.S. as CDC warns of second wave. Yes, it'll probably be a second wave, but that's going to be a bioweapon. That's not going to be what you think it is. If they're going to get us, it's because the first wave was flu season, and they get everybody's courage up. We go out in the street, and then they hit us with the real bioweapon. That could happen. What face masks actually do against the coronavirus? They show them. No, they don't help nothing. They don't help nothing. It's like grandma knitting a sweater, you putting it on your face compared to a virus. It's going to cut right through that face mask. It does not care. Let's see, maybe RT America because it got something. Unless somebody has a link, they want to post it. Virginia is a gun tote. I'd like to show you videos from there. No, I'm not seeing nothing. I'm looking right here on RT America. Universal virus testing for workers. No, that's a stupid idea. Everybody gets the flu every single year. Ex-duty labor secretary, U.S. economy will take years to recover, probably recover, not months. Yeah, but that's assuming that we all don't die in a Great Depression and violence and conflict and police state and people don't go along with it. How to avoid being scammed online during COVID-19. Yeah, just stop believing that flu season is a bad thing. China to roll out digital currency tests, right? Because everybody's rolling out digital currency. Why? Because you can control your slave population a little easier. Green Party presidential candidate accuses Twitter over censoring campaign. Doesn't really matter if you're green, blue, red, yellow, green, purple. Banks run the world, not your political parties. Know your colors. U.S. cities, transportation sectors cut back. I haven't looked at the news in a long time. I don't even know what's on here. U.S. cities, transportation sectors cut back. Lose millions. Well, don't worry about it because you're not going to be able to afford gas soon. With 47 million unemployed people, we're going to be doing a whole lot of bike riding. You know how we used to look at China and laugh at them riding bike like, y'all on bike. We got cars. We got muscle cars, SUVs. We used to laugh at that. You're not going to be laughing soon. Yeah, you better learn to pedal, baby. We're going to get in shape. We're going to be walking. We're going to walking on the road, riding bicycles, tricycles, because we didn't want to have Jetsons flying UFOs, what they're flying around. Let me see. Swiss tennis player stuns with viral social media trick. Ooh, I do want to watch that. I'm not going to click on it because I'm a man. That got everybody in trouble yesterday on hate speech. I just, the way she's sitting in that chair, and I'm going to stop right there. Full show. Is the U.S. exploiting coronavirus crisis against Iran and Syria? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't have to click on it. Why? Because we make bioweapons, and we don't make bioweapons for fun. We make bioweapons so when something happens around the world that's closely related to that bioweapon on the coronavirus family of viruses, we're going to release the viruses we have. That's what war does. That's what conflict does. That's what governments with power do. It's what power-based systems do. They want more power, and that's not even an option. So I don't even have to click on that one. Let me see. U.S. friend Saudi Arabia beheads more than ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Yes, they're probably beheading women. They don't even let them drive cars no more. And we gave them all the money and protection so they don't have to let women drive cars because we like slavery. Everything's about slavery. It's always bipartisan. So yeah, and ISIS and Al-Qaeda, they were started by the U.S. government, which is owned by Rothschild and Rockefeller Central Bank. It's a for-profit corporation. And why did they create ISIS and ISIL and Al-Qaeda? Well, because it makes profit. That's as simple as that. It makes profit. It makes profit because you got one side shooting bullets and guns at the other side shooting bullets and guns, and you don't shoot guns but tanks. And you make money from the Defense Department, from the defense industry. Making more bullets and guns and missiles and bombs and world wars make money. It's just economics. It's not difficult. It's just money. Elon Musk survived. Uh-oh, I'm not surprised. Oh, CNN still exists in an epic smackdown. I'm surprised Elon Musk still exists. I'm surprised he's putting all them satellites up in the air and people starting to see that 4G down here causes cancer and issues. Why in the world does he put, y'all letting him put satellites up there, and China got quantum satellites? We'd be working on technology that doesn't hurt people. Mahdi government. I don't even know who Mahdi is. Mahdi government has done nothing to fight COVID. Oh, good. They shouldn't. You shouldn't be fighting flu season. You're supposed to go out there and get flu season. That's how that works. U.S. Navy sailor could face court-martial. Well, the U.S. Navy should be court-martials, not the sailors. Sailors didn't do anything wrong. U.S. Navy did a whole lot wrong. We can go back to the USS Liberty. How the hell that you would let anybody recall your fighters going to protect the USS Liberty because the president says so? No. USS Liberty needs to be court-martialed. The USS Navy needs to be court-martialed because of what they did to the USS Liberty, not any sailors. Trust me, whatever that sailor did is no more dangerous, dirty, foul, funky, filthy than what Washington, the Pentagon, and the U.S. Navy did to USS Liberty. Media has no chance but to air Trump's briefings. Larry King. Well, yeah, because everybody wants to watch it. Everyone wants to sit inside and be scared of the cuckoo virus because they don't know where this ends. Half one side thinks that Donald Trump is saving us from pedophilia, and the other half of the side think the Democrats gonna save us with digital dollars. And I'm just like, we all gonna die. That's why I plant seeds. I'm just waiting for the end. Everybody's got their heroes. You know me. I have no interest in any of the monkey games. I played monkey games my whole life. Now I realize why they make shiny things for monkeys. So monkeys will stick their hand in that tree. Because you know how to catch a monkey, right? You create a Democrat and Republican Party and you cut a hole and put something shiny in the tree, and the monkey put the hand in the tree, and it looked like universal health care, it looked like fighting pedophilia, it looked like universal basic income, it looked like freedom and democracy, it looked like we're gonna make some Black Lives Matter, it looked like we're gonna save and stop the immigrants or whatever we're gonna do. And you put that monkey, put your hand in that tree, and you grab something big, and the big shiny thing they grab, you can't ever have. You can't ever have it because it's bigger than the hole that you got to put your hand through. And so the monkey get trapped. That's how you catch a monkey. You give them something that they can't have. You make them promises you can't keep. You get yourself a Bernie Sanders out there, a Trump, or somebody else. And ain't none of them stupid enough to take on global bankers that murder presidents, destroy USS Liberties, and burn up entire nations. That's just common sense to me. But you know, hey, I'm in the jungles. I watch the monkey plays. The monkey playing. They're jumping on the trees, swinging, just fighting over each other's back. You know, doing that thing, you know, and it's entertaining, but we all gonna die later. Oil futures plummet in the U.S. Well, why would anybody care? This is the UFO flying around an F-18 gun camera. Why would anybody care about oil anymore? We know we can get off of fossil fuels, and that was the one thing the climate changers got right. But people fighting climate change, they got everything else wrong. They got right. They were right on fossil fuels. They was wrong on everything else. These people have geoengineering weapons. It's owned by banks, and they own the Pentagon. They've been modifying the weather since JFK told you they were going to modify your climates. All right, and then Lyndon Johnson told you that too, and he was scared of those people, and he still even said what we had to with them satellites. Beaches open as Florida COVID-19 cases rise. They're supposed to rise. Flu season comes through. Everybody's supposed to get the flu, except for the people who have weakened immune system. They should stay indoors and protect themselves, and nobody should buy masks, so they should have. So yes, the Florida beaches should be open because the Florida beaches got some of the most beautiful beaches and the people on the planet. And happy things help your immune system. Joe Exotic wins court extension. Over COVID-19. Oh, that's important. It's more important than the cuckoo virus. I want to watch that. I don't really care what y'all want to watch right now. This might be important.
Will have another month to plead his case as an Oklahoma judge grants him more time to challenge his convictions. Now, he was convicted on various charges ranging from murder for hire to animal cruelty. So joining us to discuss this controversial character, Rick Sanchez, host of The News with Rick Sanchez. So, Rick, tell us what's going on there from his jail cell in Oklahoma.
All right. So, for starters, Manila, this is the story of a fellow named Joseph Maldonado Passage. For those of you who have no idea who Joseph Maldonado Passage is, he is Joe Exotic. In other words, to the rest of the world, he's Joe Exotic. Some people call him the Tiger King, which is actually the name of the show. So he says that the charges that were filed against him are bogus. He says the prosecutor who prosecuted him is a bad guy and a liar. And he says that the federal government, more specifically the Department of Fish and Wildlife through the Department of Interior, are also liars, and that much of what they have said that he did is simply not true. Okay.
And that all would be true and not true all at the same time. And it's just the world we live in at this moment in time. He is absolutely right. Fish and wildlife and game is criminals because they're a for-profit corporation. They don't give no two dams about the fish nor the wildlife. The EPA don't care about the EP, only the A. Why? Because they're a for-profit corporation. They work for a for-profit corporation. Nobody's protecting you. Homeland Security is not protecting the homeland, and the FBI is not FB or Iing. Okay? So Joe Exotic is right. But he's also right on the fact that he's doing what his government's doing, which is abusing animals. He's abusing things he has power over the same way that they abuse us. This is why I'm watching this, because when you see how people on the lowest levels do, you'll understand what your government's doing. Why? Because people mimic their government, and we are the government. We don't actually have a government. We're a for-profit corporation. I hope Joe gets off, because Joe ain't done nothing worse than Homeland Security. Joe ain't done nothing worse than the Pentagon. In fact, Joe ain't done nothing compared to them. Nothing. Joe ain't done nothing. How many animals has the EPA killed? Think about it like this. We don't even have sturgeons in the waters barely anymore because the EPA approved every single pesticide that came across their desk that's out there killing off all the sturgeon. We now have all kind of endangered sturgeon now because they've been murdering them through the waterways because they haven't been EP or Aing. It is not profitable to EPA. It is only profitable to what is Pesticide Protection Agency, PPA. It's profitable to PPA, it's not profitable to EPA. You don't actually have an EPA. In 1871, they got rid of your government and they created a for-profit corporation that created for-profit departments underneath that for-profit corporation. That is all fact, if you have the courage to read it. So yeah, Joe Exotic hasn't done anything. Joe Exotic's trying to make money, and all your government's doing is trying to make money too.
Okay, everybody says that, right? Everybody who's found guilty of anything always has to have some kind of appeal, and they're going to fight it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here's what he did. He decided he's going to sue both the federal government, the Department of the Interior, and the prosecutor. He's suing them for $94 million, right? And he says that the charges that he was convicted of are all bogus. So there was a judge who was about...
Hang on, I agree with that. All the charges, everything they accused him of is bogus. I absolutely agree. Why? Because they do it too. If they do it, then it's all bogus, right? That's hypocrisy. You're a hypocrite. If you're saying that he can't put down 5 tigers, which is what they accused him of, and a couple other things, then you can't put down 50 million Americans. You can't have a Tuskegee experiment. You can't kill soldiers on USS Liberty. You can't send people off to go fight for their country when they're really fighting for oil companies. You can't starve people in a trailer park nor the ghetto. You can't poison your people slowly with these big pesticide and criminal GMO and big pharma corporations. So yeah, I agree with him. All the charges are bogus because you can't actually make a law that you break yourself. That's hypocrisy. If you make a law, it has to apply to everybody. If it doesn't apply to you, then it's bogus.
This whole thing. They were going to dismiss his lawsuit, right? So this guy, Joseph Maldonado Passage, apparently decided, well, wait a minute, that's not fair. Because right now, because of this coronavirus thing, I'm not able to even have a defense. I can't communicate with my lawyers. I can't even get to a computer. Nothing is working. Oh, and I'm in isolation because everybody in my jail here in Texas.
Did y'all see what just happened? Did y'all just see that? Did you hear that? Joe Exotic actually knows more than most Americans. Did you see that? They just confirmed what we talked about. When you piss off 80,000 law firms across your nation because you shut it down, they can sue you because you're a corporation. Joe Exotic, does Joe Exotic know who the Federal Reserve is? Does he know? Do you see what he's doing? He's trying to sue them for doing something that's completely unconstitutional, that violates the Bill of Rights in every single way. He wants to sue them because they took away his ability for his pursuit of happiness to get out of prison. And that's what we need to do. Because your rightful actions against a corporation is not to vote harder. Your rightful acts against a corporation is not to switch party. Your rightful acts against a corporation is to hit them at their bottom line. That's the only thing they understand. He knows more than 98% of the population, and he barely knows how to get a good, decent haircut.
Apparently has coronavirus, and they're afraid I'm going to get it, so they put me in isolation. So I have that down, and he writes a handwritten letter to a federal judge, an appeals judge, a district judge. Writes this handwritten letter, and the judge says, you know, you're right. It's not fair. Regardless, I don't even know what your case is. I don't know if it's got any standing, but I'm going to go ahead and give you an extension. I'm going to give you another 30 days so that you can bring the lawsuit. So this lawsuit that was supposed to be dismissed.
I'm going to give you another 30 days because what you're requesting is actually has merit. It might actually be founded that you can sue for that.
He now has another 30 days to be able to bring it forward, which means
which means everybody can make a lawsuit against their state and federal corporation for actually making them stay indoors and buy masks so old people can't have them, and so that they can't get the cuckoo virus, which is flu season that comes around every single year. You actually can sue for your business being put out of business. You can sue for being unemployed. You can sue for relatives who died because they couldn't get access to medical health care because your government was playing a game with big banks because the currency collapsed.
I guess he still has a shot. Now this is important because we talked about the charges. I'm just going to go through them real quick, Manila, because a lot of people don't know what's this guy been accused of, right?
See, I'm watching it because it ain't got nothing to do with Joe Exotic. Ain't got nothing to do with it. Ain't got nothing to do with no tigers. Has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the fact that we are in a conflict-based system that's being orchestrated by a corporation that was designed to look like a government. That's what this has to do with. But if you don't watch Joe Exotic and you don't like connect the analogy and connect the dots with people, then they just see a crazy white dude that's being treated like a crazy black dude because he killed some tigers in the prison. He wants to get out, and he mad at the crazy white lady and killed her husband, Carol Baskin, and fed him to some tigers. But this actually explains the U.S. government. This it actually, no, I said that wrong, didn't I? It explains the United States Incorporated for-profit corporation. It actually explains he's doing at his level and Carol's doing at her level, which is what they do at their level. And what's that, Diana? And PETA kills 50% of the animals that it claims to rescue, all documented, while raking in millions of donations yearly, which is why I'm not a part of PETA, Diana. I love animals. I love animals too much to have anything to do with no damn PETA. If you ever become big, you become corrupt. That's just how crony, corrupt, karma-based societies work. If you are in a dirty, unsociety of an uncivilization, then only crime pays. Only the dirty people bubble to the top. PETA double bubble to the top. So obviously, PETA, whatever the name is corrupt. Same thing with Carol Baskin, same thing with Mullet Man, and same thing with RT, same thing with CNN, same thing with it. That's just how it works. Crime pays, and the more criminal, the more deceitful you are, the higher to the top you get. It's just RT ain't as high as CNN, that's all.
It's kind of weird.
Everybody's heard about this woman, Carol Baskin, but listen, falsifying wildlife records, killing 5 tigers,
falsifying wildlife records. Well, the whole U.S. government is a it's a corporation pretending to be a government, so they can't get him for false anything because their whole government's false. Killing tigers with democide is actually a thing. It's a government that kills its people, and our government kills our people all the time with GMOs and forced vaccinations and all types of other chemicals in the food and sugar. And so that's not a crime.
Selling tiger cubs
Selling tiger cubs, we sell babies all the time. In foster care, you can make $120,000 per child in a state if you snatch them from poor people.
And attempting to arrange the murder of Carol Baskin by paying a hitman $30,000. Those are the charges that he's been convicted of.
USS Liberty. They got paid to look the other way when the USS Liberty was being bombed. So we ain't done nothing at the federal level that he didn't do. The problem is we're slaves, and you can make a slave agree when poor people do it, it's bad. But when the kings and lords do it, it's okay. It's okie dokie. We can vote for that. Let's do everything we can to get normals turned back on.
And that's why he's in prison.
I'm on Joe Exotic's side.
Like $3,000, which I think was part of the controversy. Now, see, I like many other Americans, Rick, I don't know about you, but was obsessed and binge watched this thing.
Yes.
I don't know if you did, but me, like the millions of others, we did this. But I don't get it. Why were we glued to this train wreck?
My wife Suzanne cannot stop talking about this show. She and a lot of my friends are absolutely like you. I took you for somebody who'd be a sucker for this.
Everybody should watch the show. Everybody should watch the show. I told y'all that a while ago, and binge watch it too. You know, the first 2 or 3 episodes after that, you'll be like, why in the hell would anybody tell me to watch this damn show? But then you go ahead and finish it up, and you'll see it's a story of America. Remember, a world, it's the story of the world, not even America. You judge a nation by how it treats its least. And these people fit the least in almost every way. Almost every single way. Not every way, but almost every way. This will explain why your world is the way it is.
This kind of thing. Look, I have to admit, I couldn't stop watching it at first also, but then it started getting almost too weird, too bizarre, too nefarious, and
too weird, too bizarre, too nefarious. Like a flu season with a fake pandemic where the statistics actually prove that it's not a pandemic, but the government doesn't want to restart a society that it shut down, that it knew it couldn't shut down because it would collapse the currency and create 47 million unemployed people and thousands, untold thousands of people would die in the process. Is that kind of weird?
I kind of like, okay, I felt like after I finished watching a couple of those episodes toward the end there, I had to take a shower. And I mean, that's
how I feel every time I read the laws. Every time I read the laws, Act of 1871, the Federal Reserve Act, every time I look and actually pay attention what's actually happening in my world, I need to take a shower. Every time I watch a video from Best Evidence on YouTube and I realize what the banks are up to and I see people scared of the cuckoo flu and jogging in masks yesterday, I need to take a shower. I need to take a shower because Tiger King, the show, is actually a lot more stable than your U.S. government and this unsociety that we actually don't have.
So much go. Oh, and by the way, I got something else. 2 new things, two new developments in the last 48 hours. The state of Minnesota is now going after him, and they may soon charge him for trying to take wolves out of Minnesota, take them to his encampment, and you can't cross state lines with wild animals. That's against a federal law. And also, one of his buddies there, one of the guys who worked in his one of the zookeepers or whatever, is now doing an interview saying that he did some pretty horrible things with the animals that may involve things that I would almost prefer not even to talk about on camera. So
he did horrible, horrible, horrible things with the animal. And as horrible as the things he did is nowhere near what your Department of Social Services does to your people. As bad as he is, he ain't never gonna come anywhere near close what Democrats and Republicans bipartisan have done. It ain't gonna come nowhere near as creepy, weird, funky, foul, don't make any damn sense as actually taking somebody who took big money with HIV and AIDS, Fauci, and now beg and wait and stay inside your house for him to come up with a cure with somebody who genocided people in Africa and Latin America named Bill Gates. No, the show was actually it was relaxing, to be honest with you. I watched the show and it gave me hope in the human race. I watched the show, I was like, damn, yeah, we do got some hope, huh? Boy, some people can just figure it out and get it together. It's when I turn on the news when I lose my mind. And yeah, no, Christine, I ain't that clean because I don't watch the news as much as I need to. I turn that mess off. Anytime that news come on, There's always a damn commercial. You know how the news always repeats that same saying? In times like these, they all say the same thing. We must flatten the curve. They keep saying the same damn things because it's all just always the same damn news. That drives me crazy. Bill Exotic, what's his name? Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin. That to me is more normal. That's closer to where we should be. That's you know, they're doing drugs and got tigers in the houses and cages and yep, that's called tiger grab your foot while you eating lunch. That's closer to normal than any damn thing I see coming out of Washington. That it gave me hope in the human race.
On top of the charges he's trying to get thrown out, there may be more coming. Hey, these are not good times for Joseph Maldonado Passage.
Yeah, I don't know if we...
It shouldn't be good times for the U.S. government, what they do to these children in these trailer parks and ghettos and prisons. Oh, no, I'm not worried about no tigers. I love tigers, but they're not the problem. Joe Exotic is not the problem. Carol Baskin only fed one person to a tiger. How many children has the Pentagon fed to Israel and Africa and AFRICOM and Yemen and Iraq and Iran? And how many children did they want to feed to a war in Venezuela and Morocco? Come on, not even close. Carol Baskin is a saint and an angel and a sweetheart, darling of the human race with Joe Exotic compared to the people y'all vote for.
We all watched it, Rick, because we're just out of things to watch because we're stuck at home. But at any rate, it is definitely a fascinating story. He's a fascinating character.
It's a love story.
It's the biggest hit. It's the #1 most watched show in Netflix for 2.5 weeks running. And
People
they're
need hope.
now saying it may break all the records that they've had because, well, you know, a lot of people got nothing else to do but sit and watch Netflix. So
Fascinating
it may not be because it's such a great quality show, right?
No, just
tell me that.
Crazy.
Tell me you agree with that.
Just fascinating characters, just a weird cast of characters that, I mean, you can't make this stuff up, and that's why it's a weird documentary. Right. All right, we'll leave it right there, my friend.
Who knew?
Rick Sanchez, always appreciate these updates on.
I always appreciate Rick Sanchez. I don't trust him. I don't trust him because that RT getting a little too big, but I always appreciate him. You know, but people watch it. They stay at home like they're slaves, like the poor tigers. You gotta help the tigers, the poor tigers. I'm like, you know that you in a cage at this moment in time. They got you, they got you on lockdown right now. Right now, you at home right now like a tiger in a cage. And they not even feeding husbands and wives to you, but you on lockdown, you worried about some tigers. This is why I told my PETA people, because I do have friends who are like animal rights activists and stuff. I'm like, y'all listen. Until you get the monkeys, worry about the monkey cubs, the monkey chimps. What's a baby chimp? Until you get the humans to worry about the baby humans, don't have to worry about the fish, the wolves, the tigers, the rhinos, the elephants. Don't even worry about them. Because if you can't get people to give two damns about their own children and the kids down the street and the people they go to church with and the children they see at the food market at the local mall, they ain't gonna give two damns about them animals. They gonna extinct every last one of them and make shoes that's made from mink and fox and alligator all at the same time, and they gonna eat the meat. All right, if you don't develop consciousness in your people, at least as conscious as Carol Baskin and Tiger King, then you ain't got to worry about it because we all gonna die. As I said, we all we all gonna die. I love that show. I watched that show because it gave me hope in the human race that we might actually become as sentient as them, where we maybe have a government that only kill one husband and feed him to a tiger, instead of millions and millions and millions of people, putting 40 million people out of work. I thought it was a great show. Everybody else watched it because they on lockdown. Tiger cage is bigger than some of the houses. They out there, tigers out there running, got balls and stuff. People bringing them food. Is your government bringing you food? Is your government bringing you a husband to eat? No. All right then don't worry about the damn tiger. You need to worry about yourself. You need to worry about your kids. You need to worry about your future. These banks that got you in cages and they have no interest in feeding you. They done locked you in that cage and they say, you go on and fend for yourself. We got people starving in their houses right now, starving in their cages, thinking about who they gonna eat next. You need to worry about the zoo that you're in, not worry too much about the tigers. The tigers gonna be okay, because you know why? The tigers in metal cages. They got the tigers in metal cages, but tigers don't care two damns about metal cages. Y'all know that, right? He got the electric fence on him. That's okay, Because when the power go out, and you know the power is going out, why? The banks are collapsing your country. You are going into the greatest depression you've ever been in. The power is going to cut off on the cages. So you ain't got to worry about the tiger. You know why? The tiger's surrounded by his food. He going to be good. The tiger going to knock that fence down and say, what the hell am I going to eat? And it's going to see all of us dumb monkeys kicked out of our houses because we can't pay mortgages and rents because we got 40 million unemployed, walking on the street living in tents. And you know what a tent is to a tiger? All a tent is just it's an outer coating to make it obvious where the food is at. The tiger going to go out and see the America look like a big campground. Got and they got all the nice pretty colors, the tents that the people will be in, just so you stand out and don't blend in with the background. Tiger gonna come out there, knock down that wire fence, and just get to eat. Gonna be people everywhere, gonna be delicious and nutritious. You need to worry about the predator banks that's coming for the human race, and not worry so much about them tigers. They're gonna be okay. They're surrounded by their food and they know how to survive. Nope, you cannot release them back into the wild. I agree with these people, but you can release them into America. Because ain't nobody got no horns. In the wild, rhinos got horns. In the wild, there's other tigers and lions got claws and defend themselves. In America, all they gonna have is tents, because they're not gonna keep them houses. The banks want them houses, they're gonna take them right back. All these McMansions gonna be empty. They're gonna continue what they've always been doing. Them tigers gonna be like, oh, well, who got the best food? At San Francisco? Yeah, man, they got some good food over there. You gotta be careful though, because they starved them people for so long. They had something called a Pumat. Yeah, it's a Pumat. What's a Pumat? Well, Pumat, because the humans were treated like tigers in cages. They had just poo in big old piles in the city. Ain't nobody do nothing about it. They ain't do nothing about it. They had a government, and they ain't do nothing about it. At least Joe Exotic came in here and cleaned the cages. They ain't got nobody in San Francisco clean. No, they ain't clean no cages. They had piles of human poo on the street, 2 feet tall. But the people's delicious. The people delicious, but you stay away from them poo piles. They got all kind of medieval viruses grown in the streets of San Francisco, because that government didn't give 2 damns about the people before the cuckoo flew, and they give 2 damns less later. Yeah, and that's right. Who's that? Sarah, the 10 cities. The 10 cities. I would never vote for a government that got 10 cities. You know how stupid that is? A government that forces people to live under the city and in the tents. But you know what, Sarah? We're gonna learn today. Who's a comedian who said that? You're gonna learn today. All you're gonna learn today. Yeah, you kept voting for a government that let people go live in caves underground, single moms with their kids live on the streets, soldiers come home, go homeless, throw them in prisons, and people live on the streets of LA and San Francisco and live under Las Vegas. That, guess what? The things you vote for and other people who are unfortunate, it's always gonna come home to you. So it's gonna be okay. The only difference is right now, Sarah, they ain't got no tigers in the streets of San Francisco. They're coming. They're hungry and they're coming. What is it? There's more tigers. There's more tigers in America than in the wild. And they're in cages, and the electricity gonna go off soon. And them tigers is hungry. They're hungry. That's why I say don't ever cheer for anything on anybody else. Don't ever do that, because it's always gonna come home to you. Whatever you cheer to go to Yemen, it's gonna come home to you. Whatever you cheer to happen to people in the trailer park because you're scared of them, because they got mullets you don't like them, it's gonna come home to you. Whatever you cheer on the immigrants, you need to stay in your own country. But you let your government keep blowing their countries up, eventually somebody gonna blow your country up. That's how karma works. Karma is a mother hubba, and it don't give 2 damns about what you want. Karma will always come home to you. All right, let me start wrapping this up. Did I mess up on YouTube? How come I'm not seeing the comments? Woo! That's why I love Tiger King. If you have not watched Tiger King, you should watch it. It's a little dark. It's a little dark until you think about it right. It was dark when I first watched. I tell you, I watched the first 2 episodes. That's why I love Tiger King. It bothered me, the first 2 episodes, and then I thought about it. And after I thought about it, I was like, oh, this is America. This is the world. This is the world that the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and Carnegies and Mellons, the world that they made. Okay, I get it now. Now I get it. Yeah, and then it was a happy show. I only watched the first 2. I was depressed. Like, where in the world were people? They make these people. They got drugs and gangs and violence and pedophilia and abusing kids and tigers and cages and no food and shooting animals and people murdered there, all kind of stuff. And I was just, after the first day, it was dark. It was dark. I didn't understand. I had no idea what I was watching after the first. I was sad. And then the second day, I was like, well, wait a minute. How is that any different than my country 'tis of thee? It's like it's the same damn thing. It's a lot. It's just happier on the Tiger King. It's a lot less death, destruction, murder, rape, poverty, and drug use on Tiger King. It's a lot less abuse of children on Tiger King. It's a ray of sunshine and hope. I haven't seen Tiger King. Dawn, you need to watch it. You're going to understand how central banking works when you watch the Tiger King. Either read the laws or watch the Tiger King and explain to you why you should not be voting for no criminal for-profit corporation that's pretending to look like a government. Whew, all right. Rumors that Kim Jong-il is dead. Uh-oh. He was in critical condition. Kim Jong-un. Uh-oh. That's North Korea, Rebecca. Well... That's what I was thinking about. You don't have to really worry too much about North Korea. No, they're ready to go. He explained it. The guys went over there, did that documentary, explained, oh, well, Kim Jong-un, some dumb young Sung-il, he doesn't actually run the country. He said, if I was out, they're going to replace me. Because they have layers upon layers of protection. You know how ogres have layers and onions have layers. North Korea got layers, and it didn't matter. He couldn't turn the country around if he wanted to. Same thing with Donald Trump. Same thing with Barack Obama. Same thing with Pelosi and Maxine Waters and all these people, all the people who are supposed to be coming to save us. Same damn thing. The elites aren't that stupid. The elites in North Korea ain't that stupid, so that's how you know your global elites aren't that dumb. They would not let one person make no decisions in a country and a land that they actually own. So I don't think we have to worry too much about North Korea. They're not going to change because the problem is actually the system and people still focus on the people. I hope he ain't dead. I thought he was pretty funny. But you know what? I'm going to go check out Dennis Rodman's page. He probably know if anybody else knows. I've been obsessed with the depleted Z in our soil and the spraying of chemicals in our environment. That is why our immune systems are whacked, which is why, Carolyn, it's stupid to go to the people who are whacking your immune systems. Anytime there's a problem coming through your country that's based in you not having any immunity. If you got something coming through your country that's killing off people, that's based in people not having immune systems, your first stop is to go to people who's killing the immune systems. And that's the government. Which is why I think it's all kind of funny, Carolyn. People sit in their house and they're waiting for the people who cause the problems, solve the problems. I'm just watching the show. I'm not really involved. It's kind of like Tiger King. I'm just watching. I'm curious to see how the last season of America is going to end. I pretty much know what it is. I kind of read this book before. It's happened in history before, but we're going to wait and see what happens. I hope the internet is different. I hope the internet changes. I hope people develop courage and they actually go look in places that scare them. And see what happens. So yeah, but and this is how we started out. Trudell said it's like, San Francisco, people live in tent cities. For them, this ain't really all that bad. Like, oh, depression's coming. Like, oh yeah, welcome to the party. Yeah, y'all voted for me to stay here. Y'all privileged. Y'all lucked up. You got your black skin. You was worried about you felt you wasn't getting what you deserve. And I live in a tent city, and I got poo surrounding me, and I got white skin. You wasn't worried about me then. You gonna understand me in the future. Come on, let me show you how to live in the winter. Let me show you how to layer up newspaper to create warm insulation as a layers when your government that you were voting for that did this to me does it to you. That's how karma works. It always just comes right back around. Weep the whirlwind. Anyway, the good thing is it's not too late. We can free the people. As Pat Riley says, we can free the people. We just have to grow up, educate ourselves, and act on the information we uncover. Learn about what the Federal Reserve is. Learn about what conflict, control, and power and slavery is. We can free the people and not free the tigers. But until we grow the hell up, they're going to be freeing the tigers and oppressing the people. And then the tigers won't eat the people. That's how that works. Anyway, I had to go. It's Gerard. Love y'all to death. Now y'all have a great day. Watch the Tiger King. Binge watch. It's a good thing to watch. It is a show that will absolutely show you how your world works and what's going to happen to you next. You got a whole nation full of tigers, and the tiger at the top is a central bank, and they're about to devour you. It's about to be poo in a pile of a tiger of a central bank that's done with you and just decided to auction you off to the next billionaires. Anyway, this is Gerard. Gotta go. Y'all have a wonderful, phenomenal day. Do you can. It's not too late to subvert this great depression that's coming, but it's all up to us if we don't want it. We just got to pull together and stop playing divided monkey, because divide and conquer is how you get the monkeys, by getting them to grab things and trees that are shiny and delicious that they never get to eat. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye now.